Yeah, I don't ever remember feeling like this. But I'm out here in these YouTube streets. So I want you to get your fingers. I don't know what you're doing. I want you to get your mouse. I want you to check me out. And I want you to check me out. Get ready to do this. It's the relationship rehab. Like, share, and subscribe. We coming at you live. So come on, let's take a ride. Then subscribe to United Guns of America. Just click that link and listen up to what I'm telling you. It's the relationship. Click that link right now. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Brian Redmond, and I just want y'all to subscribe to my channel. You know what I'm saying? I want you to let me know what you think. I'm gonna talk about some things, you can talk about some things, and we can do our thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's all about having a conversation, right? I mean, if we can't talk to each other, then, I mean, what are we really here for? I want y'all to be able to just come over to my channel, talk to me about what's going on with you, and I can tell you what's going on with me, and we can build some things, you know what I'm saying? That's all about growth, baby. So click that link, go ahead and swipe on your phone, whatever you gotta do. Share my content. It's just get me out here, baby. Cause we just talking, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I like doing what I'm doing because it's about the people. It's about us having a conversation with each other. It's about us discussing whatever needs to be discussed. And on these YouTube streets, this is the best place to do it, baby. Like, share, subscribe. That's right. Click the link. Click the link. Yeah. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's out here that's already subscribed. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all ain't the first one, and y'all ain't the last one. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody that click the link, that click the share, and then subscribe to your boy. Cause we gon' grow this thing together, baby. Relationship rehabbing, United Guns of America. To the world, blow up, baby. Yeah. Click the link, baby. Click the link, baby. Yeah. Hey, I just want to send a shout out to all y'all. I love y'all. That's why I do this. It's for the love of us, baby. I appreciate all of y'all. Ooh, we gon' do this thing. We gon' do this thing right here, baby. Hey, look, if you at a computer right now, just go ahead and click your link. What else you got to lose, baby? Tell me what you think. Hit the comment section. You can jump on the live panel. We do it all here. That's what it's all about. So come holler at your boy. I've been doing this for years, but I just got onto this YouTube thing. So hey, let's see what it do and where it can go. To United Guns of America. Just click the link and listen up to what I'm telling you, telling you. What's going on, everybody out there in the internet world? It's me, Brian Redmond, also known as the Relationship Rehab. And I need you to do two things. What are those two things? Subscribing to both my channels. I need you to go to the Relationship Rehab, subscribe to that channel, and then I need you to go to United Guns of America and go to that channel. Now you may be asking, why would I do that, Brian? Because it's two of the hottest channels on the internet. Come over there, give me your thoughts, give me your opinions, have conversations, because that's what it's all about. We talk about some of everything: politics, relationships, guns, law enforcement, community stuff, anything that's happening. I'm willing to have a conversation about it, so come on over. You don't got nothing else to lose, and you ain't got nothing else to do. So come to my channel, subscribe ASAP, and join in on the fun. Twice the entertainment, 2 channels, twice the fun. Come on and have a funky good time with your boy. Peace, and I'm out. Twice the entertainment, twice the fun. Come on and have a good old time with your boy. What up, everybody? It is another one, as DJ Khaled would say. I am Brian Redmond. This is the Relationship Rehab and the United Guns of America. And tonight, we will be talking about, that's right, old Shotgun Joe's gun control plan. So, oddly enough, I was sitting here and I'm posting the show out, getting the link out, you know, doing what I always do. And then I just so happened, as I was sharing this out on my Facebook,
I came across a post, and I'm going to show y'all this post in just 1 second. I need to bring it up here. So that there we go. And I can just show y'all this. So I'm just going to show y'all this. With everything that's going on in the world today, and we're talking about gun control, we're talking about all of the stuff that we need to have, and people talking about make sense gun laws and all that kind of stuff. One of my partners posted this up, and I ain't gonna put them out there, so I'm gonna trim that part. Yeah, there we go. And this is what I happened to cross. Now let me go ahead and blow this up. This is what I happened to cross. And in this picture, you see a gentleman pumping gas. What up, Big Mo? Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it, man. I had a great time with Tommy, man, yesterday. That was a good show, man. Great show. But I saw this picture and I said, what do we have here? We got a guy pumping gas with what appears to be, in my opinion, just seeing it the way I'm seeing it using my eagle eyes, looks like he has a Smith & Wesson. And he is standing there pumping gas, looking off into the distance at something, but he has his gun out. Now, me personally, I think this dude is doing the right thing just because of what it appears to be. He's in an urban area where there are a plethora of niggas. Yep, he's standing outside. All he's trying to do is get some gas. He ain't looking for no trouble. He ain't trying to cause no problems or nothing. But the fact that this is the type of world we live in is what's so eye-opening to me. And then I look at the let me look at the comments here. So here go the comments. One of the guys say, I see a man on his security. Sad but necessary in a lot of cases. Someone else says ready cause clearly it ain't safe for him. Getting gas in the hood, ready and waiting. Love all, trust no one. or trust none. Low Street. Then somebody else put gas ran low and he had to stop anyway in Inglewood before he got on the E-way. This is so wild. I ain't for no stupid shit. Not today. Hey, y'all, look. That's my brother Easy shit. That's Easy shit. When it's going down and he sees some fuck shit happening, that's his warrior's cry, if you will. His shit is not today. Like, not today, niggas. Y'all talk that shit. Y'all acting crazy. Not today. I ain't going today. That's his shit. So, I don't know. Shout out to my brother Easy. I love that nigga. All right. Then this person here said, no lacking. Then somebody else said, got to stay ready for sure. Survival. Yep. Just one word. I like that, David. Survival. He probably lives in Chicago. He ain't getting carjacked. Nope. Not tonight. Period. Hey, this is my brother. He looks like some stupid shit is happening around him and he just wants to be prepared if it comes his way. Then somebody else says, pour gas on whoever and set that ass on fire. And then somebody else says, somebody on that nigga's heels. Boy, look, the thing, and here's what I really tripped on when I saw this. It's like all of these people, and I'll probably refer to this a couple of times throughout tonight's show. But the thing is this. All of these politicians that are so make sense gun laws, so anti-gun, so we got to put the guns down, are so, hey, we trying to save our children. We trying to make this a better place for you and me. We trying to just make our streets ain't safe. We need these laws to save lives. I done took on the NRA and I'm the only one that beat all of that that's going on. You know what that picture said to me? It spoke volumes because it said to me, None of the politicians, none of the lawmakers, none of the Buttigiegs, none of the what's the boy, the Bloombergs, none of the what's the other guy, the Beto O'Rourke's. Hell yeah, we're gonna take your guns. None of those guys, Joe Biden included, Kamala Harris and her, I've seen so many dead bodies. I've seen so many gunshot victims. Joe Biden with his, I've hugged so many families. I've talked to these families who done lost their children. None of them, none of those people will ever have to have that type of experience. None of them will ever have to go, number one, to a gas station in the hood. Number two, they will never have to probably even pump their own gas. And number three, they will never have to be in a situation to where they're that unprotected or in an area that's that unsafe at that time of night to where they need to have their gun unholstered to pump gas. And that to me spoke volumes. I said, this is exactly why I am so pro-gun and anti-gun law. Not to say we shouldn't have no laws, but we don't need no more. That's my position. So we need to actually, need to get rid of a couple, but they will never have to do that. And I'm telling you like this, most people that live in urban areas either have done that or they know someone who has done that. And that speaks volumes to the reality of the world that we live in. And that ain't got nothing to do with getting guns off the street. That has everything to do with crime and getting niggas off the street. That's exactly what that is. Because I guarantee you that dude that's pumping gas, he ain't looking off and seeing some white folks coming his way. He ain't looking off and seeing some white folks having beef down yonder. That's my point. You have to understand that all of these people talking about gun law this, gun law that, we need make sense gun laws and all that. You have to understand the fact that they are coming from a perspective that they won't have, or not they won't, but they have not lived that kind of life. And for any law-abiding citizen that has to live in that type of environment, because everybody can't make it out the hood. Everybody can't go live somewhere else. Everybody can't just pack their shit up and say, oh, I'm gonna go here. They can't. So how do you get gas in your own fucking neighborhood when you got niggas outside ready to pop shit off at any second? 24/7 is set it off time. How do you go get gas? Now, I can tell you clearly, I've done that several times. I just have. It's like, I've done that in a fucking Walmart parking lot. I've done it at a gas station. I've done that shit at a Harold's. I've done it at a boat. I've done it in a moat. I've done it over here. I've done it over there. I've done it. I have just done that. And it's to the point, just for me and from where I'm from, it's second nature. I've done it in a drive-through. Not a drive-by, but a drive-through. It is what it is. And all I'm saying is I am so against people who never have to live that type of life, who will never have to go and be in that environment. A Dolores Tucker will never be in that environment. What's the other lady? The Jackson lady. She'll never be in that environment. Never. Yeah, you caught the Dr. Seuss. I got to keep Dr. Seuss alive, man, because they done got rid of my man, Dr. Seuss. They done got rid of Yosemite Sam. They done got rid of Pepe Le Pew. They out here, man. They taking them down. But that's the thing. You have to realize that they will never live that life. So why would you want those people making laws that you have to live by that they don't? Because you do know that senators, congressmen, they get to carry guns. I don't know if y'all knew that or not. Let me throw that little tidbit out there. Yep. In Chicago, you know who got the guns in Chicago? Well, this was before they finally got a CCW program. People who had guns in Chicago were the police, the politicians, and the thugs. That's who had the guns in Chicago. So it's like, it's a thing of just saying, don't let nobody make no laws for you and tell you how to live and tell you what you need to do, tell you what you can and what you can't have, and they don't live your life. I ain't talking about used to live, because back in the day, you let Biden tell it, him and Pop Smoke. Oh, Popcorn. Corn Pop, I'm sorry, that's what the nigga's name was. He had a thuggish nigga with him named Corn Pop. Back in the fucking 1930s. But you let somebody like that try to tell you what it is you need. Or you let somebody like that who ain't been in that life, who don't live that life, who ain't in no inner city, ain't in no ghetto, nowhere. For over 50 years, he's been a politician. Living the good life. Straight Kanye and T-Pain. So don't let someone like that, or let people like that, these political elite, these, don't let them tell you what you should and shouldn't have, what you can and can't have. I'll be so glad when we can get to a point, and I'll be finished with this. I'll be so glad when we get to a point to where we as Americans will just adopt the law of just having don't fuck with me politics. I'm from what political affiliation? What political group you in? I'm in the don't fuck with me. What is that? DFWM. So you got the GOP, then you got the DFWM. Just don't fuck with me politics. Period. If I'm not hurting right, the DFWM party, if I'm not physically hurting you, let you be. I'm gonna let you be. That should just be, yeah, Sheila Jackson is who I was talking about. That's how it should be. I believe that was part of the American dream, that the idea of America, hey man, come here and do what you want to do. As long as you ain't hurting nobody physically, you all right. That's just we talk about all of the different complexities of politics and all the ins and outs of how politics go, and it's the distribution of power and all of that wonderful stuff that we can debate about and all of that. But if we were just to simplify what American politics should be, what the goal of this country should be, to get America to the greatness we're claiming that it can be, that should just be at the foundation of everything. Don't fuck with me. Let me do me. Let me live my life as long as I'm not hurting anyone else. Let it go. Let go. Let God. Let country. Just that simple. All right, let me go ahead and move along to my favorite part of the show.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
Yeah, buddy. Let me tell y'all something real quick. They got these new flavors of Red Bull. I done found some really good flavors. This one I done found here is a tropical flavor. This one ain't bad, but I kind of rank them now. My favorite one is the peach. There's a peach Red Bull. It's amazing. It's very good. Then there's a blueberry Red Bull. Very good. Then after that, I'm kind of on the fence with these next two. So you got this tropical punch, and then there's a kiwi apple. The kiwi apple and the tropical punch are kind of neck. I think I like the kiwi apple better than the tropical, but they are good. I tried the Tommy shit is the watermelon. I tried that watermelon. This is all right, but I can't do that watermelon no more. These other ones are way better than that. And then with a little drink, that dragon fruit, I tried that. I ain't like that one. That dragon fruit was a little weird. And I'm gonna tell you, one of the main reasons why I never drank Red Bull. I've had a Red Bull before, but one of the main reasons why I didn't drink Red Bull, because the original flavor, that shit is terrible. That shit tastes like fucking some shit you supposed to put on to something to remove it. I'm telling you that. That original Red Bull tastes like some shit that you pour on something to get it off of there. like I gotta get this. You got some adhesive you gotta get rid of. You put that regular red. That's what that regular Red Bull tastes like. It's like, oh yeah, this is some shit you pour on there. But these new fruit flavors, I kind of like them. They still give me my little pick me up. They're not like right, that shit like a turpentine. It's like a milder turpentine. It's that now my shit is usually I usually can do a half of a 5 hour. If I do a whole 5 hour, nigga, I'll be sitting here like I tweak hard. So I can't never do no whole. I've done that a couple of times and I don't feel right. I be like Ruby Ruby Rod from whatchamacallit. What's the name of the goddamn movie? Corbin, this don't feel right. Corbin, my man. Corbin, I don't feel right, Corbin. I don't feel right. When I drink one of them Red Bull Fifth Element, thank you. I drink that Fifth Element, I be like Ruby Rod, boy. I be like, nah, Corbin, I don't feel right, Corbin. I don't have no fire. I just stopped smoking. Had I known that I would need fire for mine, I wouldn't have stopped smoking. That's how I feel. So I can't do no whole. But a half of a 5 hour, get me right in the sweet spot. I can get in the zone with that. But this Red Bull is good too. This Red Bull is all right. So I can do a bull. Mm-hmm. Now with my drink, it give it a little extra twang to it. I like that. Yeah, I'm old school. We say twang. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. It gives it like a punch. Like, you know how you remember back in the day when you had them parties, them birthday parties, and your mama back in the day, we didn't have all them different theme parties, or your party was like my daughter right now. What do we got to do for her? Because her birthday is this month. I think she wants Little Mermaid. She wants Little Mermaid. I got to buy these goddamn big ass signs that go in the yard that spell her name out and say happy birthday and all that shit. Back in the day, we didn't do that. Back in the day, we used to get some streamers and some balloons. You have some hot dogs and you have a cake and some ice cream. 5 things. Party, in effect, happy birthday, little nigga, that's it. You had fun, your friends came over, you had a good time, you ate your hot dogs first, ran around, played video games, played a penny tail on the donkey, whatever the fuck y'all gonna do. Or what's the other game with the seats, with the musical chairs, you play that, and then that's it. Nowadays, these motherfuckers hiring clowns and having petting zoos, riding ponies and shit. Like, nope. We didn't do that back in the hundreds. Back in the day, all we had, that bucket of ice cream. You was really, really doing it if you had the Neapolitan. Back in the day when I was a kid, I called it the Napoleon. Yes, that's the Neapolitan. You had a strawberry, you had a vanilla, and you had a chocolate. I got so sedity with it, I'd like to mix my vanilla and chocolate. So I'd be like, Mama, scoop mine down the middle so I can get vanilla and chocolate in mine because it tastes so good like that on top of my ice cream. That's how I was. That nowadays these motherfuckers get Mickey Mouse showing up, Minnie Mouse showing up, right? The twerk, all of the Disney characters twerk now at these motherfucking black folks' birthday party. I got a twerking Incredible Hulk. I got motherfucking Thanos coming to my son's birthday party and he's twerking. You got motherfucking Captain America showing up twerking. Iron Man show up twerking. Spider-Man show up twerking. Every goddamn character that you can possibly find comes to the party now to twerk. What the hell is going on? But now I got to do all this shit for my daughter. For her birthday at the end of this month. It's insane, but I love her and she's a fucking phenomenal kid. So shit. What you gonna do? And it's like now my daughter's at the age now where she remembering shit. she gonna remember this shit here. So I gotta start making sure that I do some impactful shit for her birthday from now on. So it's like, man, I remember my wife when we first had my daughter. My wife wanted to take her to Disney World. I said, shit, we ain't going to no motherfucking Disney World. She's 3. She's like, why not? How come we can't go to Disney World? I said, because she ain't going to remember this shit. I said, you know how much Disney World going to cost? I said, Disney World going to be about $5,000. I'll be damned if I go to Disney World and then this little motherfucker be talking about, I don't remember that. I'd kill her. I'd kill my daughter. You don't remember? The fuck you mean you don't remember Disney World? I spent $5,000. Shit, I said, nah, well, she'd be like 7 or 10. Fuck that. Shit. And since we got BJ, I'm pushing that shit back even further. Shit, cause I ain't going white, cause if she go, he gonna go. So I ain't gonna motherfucking fuck around and fuck that shit up and he be 3 and he don't remember, Daddy, I don't remember going to motherfucking Disney World. I be like, well, motherfucker, you went to Disney World. So shut the fuck up and get the fuck out of my face. So I'm gonna try to push it back, at least wait till she about 10 or 11. Then he'll be about 4 or 5 or 3 or 4. Yeah. Then shit, I might just have to go on here and do it. But man, that motherfucking Disney World boy's a motherfucker. Shit. I remember we went to Universal about 4 years ago, I think it was. Just me and my wife. Boy, that shit was about motherfucking $800-900. Goddamn it. Shit. Like, man, fuck that. Cause you know, niggas, we a little older now. We ain't waiting in no line for no 2-3 hours, so we get that express pass. So you walk up to the front of the line like, hey, I'm better than y'all. Get the fuck out of my way. But let's go ahead. Let's get into this. I'm just going off on a tangent here. All right. So for those of you who don't know, this is our nation's first lady, Kamala Harris. Yes, she's also been referred to as Headboard Harris. She's also been referred to as Heels Up Harris. She's been referred to the Give Me That Ass Harris. She's been referred to as she's just Vice President Harris. That's what she is. That's what she is. But Vice President Harris is the Vice President of the country. I guess she still ain't took her punk ass down there to that border. But whatever, yep, they called her Kama Sutra Harris, all of that shit. Fine, whatever. But either way, she's the vice president, and she's going to be talking about guns a little bit, and then Joe Biden's going to talk about guns a little bit. And essentially what I want to do is I just want to talk about the facts and the actual end game to this. And the reason why I wanted to do this, number one, a lot of people was asking me about it. Number two, I don't like the narrative that people are putting out saying they ain't trying to take everybody's guns. They just trying to make sense gun laws. And that's not true. Yep, she's also known as Willie's side piece. She was literally a home wrecker for several years. About 15 years, she was a home wrecker. I'm sorry. Let me get back to my point. But It's a thing to where you tell a lie long enough, it'll become the truth. And it's like, I don't want people to think that those of us that are pro 2A, those of us that are gun enthusiasts, love guns and all of that, I don't want people to get the wrong idea to think that we just like, they trying to take our guns, they trying to take our guns, they trying to take our guns. That's not what the thing is. What we are concerned about, and the reason why we're concerned, is because we have what is called foresight. And foresight essentially is that we see where this shit is going. So many of us in the country, the greater majority of us, talking about upwards of 70% or more or better, they have a right now what's happening in my face type of mentality. Then there are some of us that actually see, well, I see what you're doing right now, but I also see kind of where you're trying to go. So we don't want to start down the slippery slope because we know what it'll do. And a lot of people say it's not gonna happen like that. Don't be y'all just scared. Y'all are so uninformed. Nope. The thing is this, and here's why pro 2A people, gun enthusiasts, are so adamant about this. It's not about we're trying to stop and we don't want things to be safe and we don't want y'all to mess with our guns. Nope. We know where it leads to because we've seen this before. We've seen this happen in other countries. And just because it happened in another country, that doesn't mean that our country can't use that as a blueprint to do what they're going to do here or what they're trying to do here. So the fight for this is absolutely well warranted. The fact that we're coming up against it on a daily basis, the fact that you have all of these people that are gun enthusiasts speaking out about it, it is well warranted because this is how it all begins. Just like in what was that, Star Wars? Do you remember when Padme and everybody was at the consulate on Coruscant, and they were there and they was holding the big old thing and everybody was clapping and they ushered in the Galactic Republic and all of that, and she said, do you want to know how democracy dies? And she said, by thunderous applause. Because the motherfuckers was so into the right now. They were so into the, look, what we got to do something right now. And whatever we going to do, let's just do something. They weren't thinking about what they were actually doing. And they were giving up their power to Senator Palpatine, not realizing what the long game was. See, that's the thing. Palpatine was playing the long game. He was just using what was happening today to give him the foundation to do what it was he ultimately wanted to do. And even when you have, and thank you, the nation states say, hold on to those guns at any cost. When you look at other countries like Australia, when you look at other countries like Venezuela, soon to be next is going to be Canada. When you look at those citizens, not the politicians, but the citizens tell you, hold on to y'all guns, America. That's enough for me. When you have y'all ever seen that speech that little old German lady who was actually in the Hamas, because she wasn't German, she was Jewish. Little old nice Jewish lady gave a wonderful speech about how they got the guns from them. When old Hitler rolled in doing his thing. That little old Jewish lady gave up the game and was like, this is what they did, this is how they did it. Don't y'all let it happen to y'all. If you haven't, I don't know, I can't remember her name, but I watched it, and yes, it was an amazing story. It really was. And it truly lets you know this shit can happen. It's not a thing of, oh, that would never happen. They would never do that. I bet you people thought that Hitler would never do what he did. I guarantee you people thought Hitler would never get as big as he got. I guarantee you people thought, it's just Hitler. Because what it started out for him as, he was just a motherfucker talking in a fucking pub. Sitting down at a bar, talking to a couple of guys. And then it became to a point where he was talking to the entire pub. Then it became a thing where he got so big they couldn't be in the pub talking no more. They had to be outside the pub. Then it got to the point to where he was standing out on the corner of where the pub was on top of a soapbox so that everybody could see him. And he started talking there. And then it became a movement. And before you know it, that's how it happened. So let's go ahead and let's get it started. Oop, my bad, wrong one. Here we go.
Up close. I've looked at autopsy photographs. I've seen with my own two eyes what a bullet can do to the human body. I've held hands with the hands of parents who have lost a child. I have seen children who were traumatized by the loss of a parent or sibling.
Mm-hmm.
And I have fought my entire career to end this violence and to pass reasonable gun safety laws. Time and again.
Now here's the thing. And this is why I wanted to do this, because you always hear them using this same playbook. And that playbook is this. They always tell you about people who died. And the thing is, it's not that these people have died because of lack of gun laws. It's the fact that they just died from gun violence. We don't know why these people are dead. She's just talking about people dying, and she's saying like it's because we don't have gun laws. And that's the playbook that they all start from. And it's just not true. It's so not true. There are hundreds of gun laws that are in effect. And the fact that there's still gun violence, just like with drugs. You don't hear people talking about we need to come up with more drug laws, do you? Think about all of the people that are getting high. Think about all of the people that are selling drugs, using drugs. There's an opioid epidemic. Have you heard any politicians talking about we need to come up with new opioid laws? Have you? Just tell me that. So it's all a ruse. It's all a bunch of BS. It's the overlay for the underlay. Because you do realize this. Laws are only followed by law-abiding citizens. So if all of the law-abiding citizens turned in their guns tomorrow, who would still have guns? The criminals. So why would you want to say, we're going to take all y'all law-abiding citizens' guns, and then we're just going to go ahead and figure out this whole criminal thing later? That lets you know it's not about safety. It's not about public safety. It's not about stopping gun violence. It's not about that. You want to take all of the law-abiding citizens' guns, because we're the only ones that's going to follow the law. Then you want to defund our police departments. And then you're just going to leave the criminals to do what they're doing because you constantly letting them out because you don't want to keep them locked up because of COVID. So all the criminals are out on the streets. We've given up all our guns. We have a defunded police department. And what's supposed to happen for us? Meanwhile, she still got her security Secret Service detail who walk around with P90s. Meanwhile, our president walks around with P90s. I'm sorry, he has a shotgun. But the president walks around with the security detail armed to the teeth with P90s and MP5s. That's what they have. But we can't have that. That lets you know they literally do not give two shits about us. Right. If shit goes left, he has a bunker. If shit goes left, he has Air Force One. If shit goes left, he has the armored vehicles. They both do. He got Air Force One. She got Air Force Two. They both got security details that are armed to the teeth. They both got vehicles that are armored vehicles. And they're both legally licensed to carry firearms if they choose, on top of all of that. Unbelievable. And just put that in perspective. You have somebody who is surrounded by armed individuals 24/7. Dre, Snoop, and Devin. 24/7, they surrounded. And they get to tell you what you shouldn't have. I find that appalling. I find that quite appalling because it's a slap in the face. Imagine if I told you that you couldn't wear shoes. Meanwhile, I'm standing there telling you that in red bottoms or Jordans. Just imagine that, because that's essentially what they're doing. Y'all shouldn't be wearing shoes. Shoes are bad. You should not be in these shoes. Shoes are terrible. The children that are making these shoes over in these third world countries are suffering, and we can put it all to a stop if we stop buying shoes. So from now on, no one wears shoes. You will get a pair of flip-flops that are made from tree bark and some twine, and that's it. But I'm standing there telling you this with Louboutin red bottoms on. Just saying. I'm just saying that. Why would someone not say something about, well, wait a minute. If you think all I need to protect myself is a gun that has less than 10 rounds in it, and a shotgun. So basically this motherfucker want to take us back to Deadwood, give me a 6-shooter and a fucking shotgun, and that's enough for me to protect myself. But you don't have anywhere on your security detail, nobody has a 6-shooter and a shotgun, but that's what you telling me I deserve. And I should only be able to have that, and that's it. How does that make any sense? How does that make any sense to the fact to where when they say it, people aren't appalled by it? People aren't pissed off by it. And then to top it off, the police should do that. That's Bloomberg's thing. I don't think citizens should have guns at all. The police should be there to take care of that. The same ones you want to defund, the same police departments that are so understaffed that they can barely maintain their bare minimum numbers. And some of these police departments in major cities, they'll never say this. They won't tell you this publicly. They'll just say the police department is hiring. They have minimums that they're supposed to be meeting. They have minimum staffing requirements that they should be having. And with crime on the escalation, with crime escalating like it has over the past year, it should be even higher. Right, like Lewis just said, John Kerry telling everybody we need to get on this new Green Deal and lower our carbon emissions while he flying around in a private jet. Man, if you don't get the fuck out my face, fly coach, motherfucker. Can't have that though, can you? Hines ain't gonna let me do that. It's unbelievable.
As progress has stalled, we've all asked, what are we waiting for? Because we aren't waiting for a tragedy, I know that. We've had more tragedy than we can bear. We aren't waiting for solutions either, because the solutions exist. They already exist.
And there's another lie. There is no solution that exists. I saw somebody in the chat ask earlier, like, how do we, I think they said, how do we keep niggas off the streets or criminals off the streets? Here's the thing. And I've said this before. You want to stop the criminals from committing these crimes, you want to stop gun violence in these high gun violence areas, like in Chicago, Detroit, St. Louis, Watts, and all that, Miami, and all. You want to stop that? You do two things. You provide them with jobs, which is just based on the economy. You keep the economy strong. And the other part to that is you give them tough sentencing. That's it. I've said, and y'all heard me outline this. You get caught with an illegal gun, whether you're a felon or whether you have a gun that is not registered, because you do know that, right? There is a gun registry. We have to register our firearms that we purchase. But you get caught with a gun a gun illegally. Mandatory 5 years. No 2.5 good time, no good day for day, none of that. 5 years. You get out after 5 years and you get caught with another gun. Talking about, I just need this for protection, self-protection. I got to protect myself. This self-defense out here. Then that's going to be 10 years. Mandatory. You do your 10 years, you get out, you get another gun, that's going to be 15 years. That's it. That's all you got to do. So by the time your average 20-year-old person who get caught with a gun illegally, they do 5, they get out at 25. They get caught again, they gonna do 10, they gonna be 35. They get caught again, they gonna get out, they will be 50 fucking years old for 3 guns. If they 15 and they're saying, well, you ain't gonna charge them as an adult. If not, and even with these younger kids, you get caught with a gun, it's illegal, your ass going to baby jail 3 years till you become an adult. Do it again, you on a 5-year plan. Your ass is over the age of 16, you take your ass to jail for 3 years until you, or 2 years until you turn 18. Fuck that. And you know what it's gonna do? It's gonna make people it's gonna make your criminals put the guns down, but you gonna have some that's gonna go. I can tell you that. It's gonna be some that's gonna be like, nah, fuck that. They ain't gonna do that to me. Okay, we'll make an example out of you. We'll make an example out of you. Fine. That's all you gotta do. Send their ass to jail. That will stop it. They got, hey man, you want a job? Great. You want to get a job? Go ahead, man. They out here, economy's good. You can Uber Eats, you can Lyft, you can do all this other shit. There's plenty of jobs for you to do out here. Go work at Walmart, whatever you want to do, you better do it. Walk around here with this gun and get caught, that's your ass. That's your ass. That's it. It's that simple. Give them some jobs and you come with some real sentencing, there it is. They'll stop. They ain't gonna have no choice. They won't have a choice. So let's go ahead.
People on both sides of the aisle want action. Real people on both sides of the aisle want action. So all that is left is the will and the courage to act. And President Joe Biden has the will and the courage to act.
She is so disingenuous and phony. It is appalling to me. But I get it. She's saying that all it takes is the courage to do what? What is it that they ultimately want to do? They want to just get rid of guns, period. Yes, I'm telling you, it is like, and you know what's so funny? It's like so many people, especially us, we know it. We know that she's phony. I mean, and I'm telling you like this, even from the very beginning, when she was running for president, it's like, y'all don't see that? Like, she had like no authentic moments. None. Everything that she was just talking about, the way that she carried herself, it was all smoke and mirrors. It was all fake. And it's like, even with some of these politicians, and a lot of them are like that. I'm not singling her out in no shape, form, or fashion. But a lot of them are like that. But the thing is, it's like, you gotta have at least something that you passionate about. Something that really like brings out your authenticity. And it's just like, I have yet to see it in anything that she does. She is so, oh yes, we have to do something about this. Oh yes, we're gonna do something about it. She's all that shit. But there's like nothing that is really her thing. Nothing at all. Just think about it. What is it in show me one thing that she actually would just go all in. This is what she love to talk about. She gonna go in on this. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. She has nothing about her that is just like, oh man, she really cares about this. She's really passionate about that. It's like they just find shit to hustle you with. They do. They just find things to hustle you with. And it's like, I ain't mad at her for doing, like I said, if like with Obama, same thing. Great speaker. And he had a way of being authentic in certain moments so that he really comes across as a person who really cares. He really did. He had that gift. He was able to connect with people when he spoke like that. But it's like, she don't have none of that. She's all smile. Even when you catch her in some fuck shit, doing some fuck shit or saying something that's crazy, she will like just, she put that little smile on. Well, you know, it's really, I just, it's all the time. Like, Jesus Christ. I don't know, but whatever.
As a United States Senator, Joe Biden took on the gun lobby not once but twice, and he won. In 1993, he worked to pass the Brady Handgun Violation Prevention Act. This law established a background check system and has kept more than 3 million firearms.
But I thought they said they don't have any I thought they said they don't have any background checks. So did she just say that he came up with a way for background checks and they just say that there are no background checks? I'm just saying, I'm just asking, is that what it was? So she's saying the background checks that they're saying we don't have and that we need. What is she saying back in 1993 what the fuck he did? You tell me. I'm just saying, you tell me if tell me where I'm lying. I'm just saying. If she said back in 1993 he came up with the Brady Bill or the Brady Act that basically made gun laws and secure gun laws and all that good shit, secure background checks so that when people get a gun, they were mandatory background checks. What is the part of the agenda now where they're saying we need background checks? That's just a question I'm asking. That's why I say I'm just listening to what you're saying and I'm just asking. You said the audio is low. Is the audio too low for y'all? Because I'll turn it up a little bit.
Out of the hands of dangerous people. A year later, he worked to pass another law to ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines for 10 years.
Now, that is true. He did do that. And what he also did in 1994 was what? Anybody know what else he did in 1994? So he did the assault weapons ban in 1994 for 10 years. But anybody else know what he did in 1994? Anyone? Bueller? Oh, yes, that's right. Thank you, Blexit. He came up with the crime bill. Yes. Do you know the crime bill, don't you? You know the one that where it disproportionately locked up more niggas ever since slavery? Y'all do know that, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. This, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. White man came up with a bill that locked up the most niggas since slavery. Mm-hmm. Yes. see how she just kind of left that part out as far as his accomplishments? Isn't that something?
And as Vice President, Joe Biden led the Obama-Biden administration's efforts to reduce gun violence. In fact, we were just
And there's another lie. Because y'all do remember when Barack Obama and Joe Biden were in office, Chicago got its name of Chirac, where they had literally over 3,000. Over 3,000. Over 3,000. The numbers in Chicago when it came to gun violence and people getting shot and getting killed, it was higher than the numbers of the soldiers that were dying in Iraq. Y'all do understand that, right? Y'all do. I know a lot of people hear the word Chirac thrown around a lot, and a lot of people say, yeah, it's Chirac there, and it's cute and it's funny, and it's just one of those little hot phrases that people throw out there. Y'all do understand that that phrase and the name of Chirac, you know how people talk about Milwaukee and Memphis, Tennessee, and all that? No. Chirac came about because the numbers of deaths during Obama's 2 terms in Chicago, there were more people dying in Chicago than there were during the Iraq War. When we was actually at war with Iraq, going after bin Laden and all of them motherfuckers that we was at war with, it was more of us dying in Chicago than it was dying in Iraq. That's how the word Chirac came about. So if y'all, and like she just said, Joe Biden came around with Obama and they helped reduce gun violence, how could you have reduced gun violence when it was at an all-time high in the city where the president is actually from? You see, that's what you call a lie. And just because she's smiling and saying it calmly doesn't make it the truth. She's lying to the American people. She's smiling in your face and lying to y'all ass, lying through her teeth, her veneered teeth. She lying right through them. Just saying. So that's a lie.
reminiscing that he and I talked back then about his work because I was Attorney General at the time of California.
And that's true. She was Attorney General at that time. And also, while she was Attorney General, Black people also got locked up at a disproportionate rate than other people under her watch. Isn't that something? So not only were they locked up, but they were prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law under her watch. But that's okay, I guess. Just saying.
And his work resulted in nearly 24 actions, from narrowing the gun show loophole to expanding funding for mental health services. And as you will...
How can you be expanding mental health services when you pretty much have closed all of the mental health clinics? Do you see it? Like, I don't understand how people aren't putting that together. Y'all do know that, right? The veterans barely have mental health services. But the majority of the mental health institutions that were open and available in the early 90s, they are but a fraction of what's out there and available today. Y'all do realize ain't no more crazy houses. Y'all remember that? Do y'all? And I'm just saying, people that grew up in my era, do y'all remember that there was a such thing where people talked about the crazy house? Boy, you keep on messing around, I'm gonna take you to the crazy house. Don't take me to the crazy house, Daddy, please don't take me to the crazy house. Boy, that person over there, they're gonna have to take him to the crazy house. Where your auntie at? Is she in the crazy house? That's how of how prevalent they were. They're literally like every city, you knew where the jail was and you knew where the crazy house was. Oh, what's that big old building over there? Oh, that's the crazy house over there. Oh, for real? Yeah. That's where they did all the crazy people. Oh, okay. Oh, man, that's a big, beautiful hospital, man. I ain't no hospital. That's a crazy house. Right, yep. Older cats called it the loony bin. That's back in the 70s. 60s and 70s, they called it the loony bin then. Yes, and thank you. There is no gun show loophole. They do the same background check that you do when your ass go to a gun shop. They are just making this shit up, people, just to say it. And they're trying to tell a lie long enough so that it will become the truth. Just saying. Calvin Dickinson said, Brian, I remember in Detroit, the governor shut them down. Crazy people walking around, nowhere to go. Dude, when you look at your homeless, and here's how you want to verify, make sure, because you know Brian be lying, he a coon ass, lying ass nigga. Okay, well, here you go. Go and look at your homeless people. And when you look at your homeless people, I promise you, aside from the ones that are aside from the veterans, well, you can include them because mental health is mental health shit. No. But the majority of them, and I'm talking at least 70% or better, are mental health issues. These people, there are some people who fucked up in life, made some poor choices, and just couldn't get on their feet. Didn't have no family, didn't have no friend, no relative, and just couldn't get on their feet. Then you have those people that are on drugs. Drug addicts, people that are on drugs, but some of those people that are on drugs have mental health issues. And they're trying to use drugs to cope. And then you have some of those people that are just straight up, flat out, mentally ill people. And they cannot function in society. They don't have the mental capacity and the mental health to get up and go to work, hold a job, maintain a job, take care of their and be responsible for themselves, let alone their children or their other loved ones. And that's what the mental health institutions were for, those people, so they wouldn't be homeless. They had somewhere to go. That's just how it was. And it's like now they closed all those mental institutions because a lot of them were state and federally funded. They closed them all, put that money back into their pockets and to other fuck shit that they was doing, whatever they wanted to do with it. And they put those people on the streets, literally. Like, hey, at the end of this month, you got to go. And people will now listen to what I'm saying and say, no, they're still mental institutions. They still get mental. Yeah, they do still have some. But those mental institutions that are still functioning today, that are funded by the state or by the government, they are literally turnstiles. People go in, they come right back out. They go in, come right back out. They go in, come right back out. They go in, come right back out. In just a matter of days. There are some people that need to stay in there because they can't go anywhere else and function. But what do? We put them out on the street. Then when they do something crazy, when they hurt a kid, when they go and they do something to some woman, or they go and do something and the police wind up shooting, then it's like, oh, how did this happen? We should have had a social worker available for that person. We should have had someone there to de-escalate. No, that person shouldn't have been on the street in the first place.
We'll hear in a moment. President Joe Biden is a leader with great will, great determination, and even greater empathy. He has seen the grief of all of those who have lost a loved one to gun violence. It is for them, for all of us, that he will never, ever give up on this fight. And it is now my great honor to introduce the President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Thank you, Kamala, Madam Vice President. Thank you very much. You know, we're joined today by the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, who I've asked to prioritize gun violence. It's also good to see the second gentleman who is here, and it's good to see the First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, who cares deeply about this issue as well. And I look out there and I see so many members of Congress who've led in this fight, so many of you who've never given up, so many of you are absolutely determined, as Murphy and others are, to get this done. We got a long way to go. It seems like we always have a long way to go. But also today we're taking steps to confront not just the gun crisis, but what is actually a public health crisis. Nothing I'm about to recommend in any way impinges on the Second Amendment. They're phony arguments suggesting that these are Second Amendment rights at stake from what we're talking about. But no amendment to the Constitution is absolute.
And that's bullshit. That is one of the biggest lies that he tries to tell. That is one of just those. This is just such horseshit. Do you realize, and I keep telling people this, the First Amendment and the Second Amendment, they were written to be absolute because it wasn't just some random thought that they wrote those two amendments in. It wasn't. They wrote those amendments because, and they wrote them the way that they did because they realized what they came from was the reason why they wanted to write them. That's exactly why they did that. And it's such bullshit that he says this all the time. And nobody calls him on it to say, no, dude, that's exactly why they say it.
You can't yell fire in a crowded movie theater. We call it freedom of speech.
And you know why you can't do that? Because you could hurt someone else. But you actually can yell fire if there is one, isn't there? Yes, but that's not the point. All I'm saying is this. The idea of what freedom of speech is, it wasn't written with the thought of saying, yeah, but you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. And there isn't one. That wasn't what it was written for. It was written so that the government could not silence the people. That's all it was. They don't ever want the government to be able to silence the people. Same thing, same premise with the Second Amendment. We don't ever want the government to disarm the people. That's it. That's all it is. It is so simple. It is so simple that's why they wrote it the way that they did. That's why they put in there what other amendment has shall not be infringed on. That basically means shall not be fucked with. Don't try to tweak it. Don't try to, you get it interpreted this way. No, it said specifically for that one shall not be infringed. That's it. It's it. And it's like sometimes you have to look at things and just try to, and be objective and try to see all different points of view of it. But then you have to be able to accept the fact that some things are as simple as they sound. Some things are just as simple as they sound. And I don't understand why people don't want to accept that or allow other people to try to schmooze that, try to put a lot of gray on that. That shit was written the way that it was, and it was black and white just for that point. They did not want the government to ever tell the people what they could say, and they didn't want or couldn't say, and they didn't want the government telling people that they could not be armed. Why? Because you need arms to back up what the fuck you say. When somebody tells you that you can't say something, you need to be able to back that shit up with guns. Because the same motherfuckers that will get into your government and try to tell you what the fuck to do, they wanted the people to always have guns in case those motherfuckers went too far, and they could motherfucking just say, all right, y'all asses out of here. You can leave the easy way or you can leave the hard way. That's why. And the only way you can do that is by having the guns to do so. That's it. It's not complicated. All of these people talk about, well, you know, this person, he went to Harvard and he studied the Constitution. He's a constitutional lawyer. Fine. You want to talk about all this other shit in the Constitution? There is no constitutional lawyer, no constitutional professor, no Constitution Supreme Court justice. Ain't not now one of these motherfuckers that can make this shit more complex than what it is, because it's not complex at all. It's all smoke and mirrors that they're trying to do with this. That's all it is. When you let people try to take something simple and make it complicated, they're doing that just for the sake of confusion. Just like with red tape, just like with fine print, just like with all of this other shit. It was never written to be like it. The Second Amendment was not written for you to have a CCW. The Second Amendment was not written for you to have a license to have a gun. The Second Amendment was not written for you to have any of that shit. The Second Amendment was written so that everybody who wanted a gun could have a gun. You have the right to bear arms, period. And that right shall never be infringed upon. That's all. And I'm telling you, anybody that tries to tell you anything different, they are trying to fucking lie and manipulate your ass for whatever agenda they got going. That shit, the Constitution was not absolute. You can't yell fire in a crowded. Hold on, man. But what about all the other shit that the Constitution says? What about all the other shit that the First Amendment says? So you telling me that the abolishment of slavery, that's all. That's some shit that can be interpreted differently now. We can, we can switch that back around. We can modify that. That's what he's saying. And that's not true. That's why they made it an amendment. Search and seizure. That's why they made it a fucking amendment. That's why they made it an amendment. The 14th Amendment. That's why they made it that way, so that you can't fuck with it. I'm telling you, don't let yourself be manipulated by a politician just because that politician can speak well, has a certain position, or think that they're telling you something that they think is the best thing for you. Look, listen, and learn for yourself. And if it's not your thing, then fine. Just let it go. If you're not a gun person, don't be worried about it. But don't be supporting something or someone just because it's not your thing, because eventually your thing will come up and be on the table. That's why I made the example that I made earlier about the sneakers. All of you sneakerheads out there, what if they made it to where you can only own one pair of shoes? And the government came around and collected all your fucking Jordans. I bet you niggas will be wearing a I will not comply hat then. I bet you motherfuckers that had this on with some motherfucking mics on the front of it. You be wearing that. I will not comply. They ain't coming to take my Jordans. I lost all my Jordans in a boating accident. You niggas would be doing that then, wouldn't you? They came and told all you ladies you can only have one pair of shoes, and it can't be, one pair of heels, and that's it. We coming to get all your red bottoms. You motherfuckers would lose your mind. Shout out to my man Andrew P. Hit your boy up with $5. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And y'all please click that like button, please. And if this is your first time here, click the subscribe button. And shout out to everybody on the United Guns of America. I appreciate you guys. But that's what it is.
From the very beginning, you couldn't own any weapon you wanted to own.
from the very beginning, actually you could, sir. You actually could. And yet, and another one. You actually could own any weapon you wanted to when the First and Second Amendment was actually written. Yes. Yes, you could. You actually could. Wasn't no ban on muskets. Wasn't a ban on revolvers. It wasn't a ban on 1911s. You could actually have it. Just reach up and grab it.
From the very beginning of the Second Amendment existed, certain people weren't allowed to have weapons. So the idea...
Who was not allowed to have weapons? Y'all tell me, please. I mean, I may not be, I may be wrong. So please educate me. Please educate me. Let me try to see if I can find that. Because I don't know of any. I don't know of any. Right to keep and bear arms, handguns. Okay. Oh, it is in June 26th decision. That's not it. I'm looking for Second Amendment. Okay, there we go. 2008. Nope, that's 2008. Nope. Right. I don't see it. Okay, so I see something right here. It says, what does the Second Amendment not protect? In the United States versus Miller in 1939, the Supreme Court ruled that the Second Amendment did not protect weapon types not having a reasonable relationship to the preservation or efficiency of a well-regulated militia. So what does that mean? I guess that you can't have like a fucking nuclear warhead. You couldn't have an atom bomb. You couldn't have a fucking a Sea Whiz. Y'all remember when I did that video and showed you that Sea Whiz? You couldn't have that. Right. And if you was black, you know niggas couldn't have guns at all. But I'm just saying. They said flat out, the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is your shit. You can have guns, period. Period. So I'm just saying, it's all bullshit, and he literally making shit up, and people just ain't saying nothing.
It's just bizarre to suggest that some of the things we're recommending are contrary to the Constitution. Gun violence in this country is an epidemic. Let me say it again. Gun violence in this country is an epidemic, and it's an international embarrassment.
If gun violence is an epidemic, okay, let's say that it is. Why would more gun laws stop the epidemic? Drugs are an epidemic. Opioids are an epidemic. There are no more laws for that. Shout out to Milo Jamal. He hit your boy up with $11. He says for the Devastator shirt. You see that Devastator, boy? Devastator! Yes, sir. He says I'm jealous. And the same restrictions they put on the Second Amendment put on voting and abortions. There is only amendment that says, it's the only amendment that says shall not be infringed, is the one that is infringed upon the most. It's like, it's a thing to where you just say, okay, well, if there's an epidemic, what is it to where more laws and banning of those things are going to stop the epidemic? I'm just saying, to stop the epidemic, what's going to stop that by making more laws and taking away certain guns? Just like you look at automobile deaths. Are they going to come with a no driving law? Are they going to come with a car ownership restrictions? Are they going to come up with ways to where you can't drive at certain times? They won't do that. Why? Because people are still going to have accidents. You take away all of the law-abiding citizens' guns, people are still going to die by guns, period. And the fact that the criminals know that your average law-abiding citizen ain't going to have guns, they're going to commit even more crime. They're going to shoot even more people. You know how I know that? Because I lived in fucking Chicago and they had it there.
You know, we saw it again last night as I was coming to the Oval Office. I got the word that in South Carolina, a physician with his wife, 2 grandchildren, and a person working at his house was gunned down, all 5.
And you're telling me that a law would have prevented that? I'm sure that there's somebody who died from a drug overdose. I'm sure there's somebody who's died from using opiates. You ain't got no more laws around that now, do you? I don't see you all going after all of these fucking pharmaceutical companies. They won't do that now, will they? Uh-oh. They won't go after the pharmaceutical companies, though, will they? Nope. Because they're getting paid from them. They've been bought and paid for by the Pfizers, by the Bears, not the Bears, Chicago Bears, but Bears, B-A-Y-E-R. They won't. They will not do it.
So many of the people sitting here today know that well, unfortunately. You know, they know what it's like when the seconds change your life forever.
Right. Like when somebody is trying to stab you, but a police officer shoots the person to save you. Just saying. Just saying. And yeah, you would think that this president, whose son has a drug addiction problem, you would think that he would be at the forefront at the war on drugs. You think he'd be more war on drugs more than Nancy Reagan was. You would think that, wouldn't you? Nope. Not at all.
I've had the pleasure of getting to meet in awful circumstances many of you who've lost your children, your husbands, your wives. You know, they know what it's like to bury a piece of their soul deep in the earth.
And here's the other thing, too, as far as the manipulation part goes. All they're talking about is just people that are dead. Not once can they say, had this been in place, this person would not have had this gun, this person would not have died. They can't say that. With the exception of just saying if there were no guns ever made. There was a doctor the other day, he was going home with his family and they were killed. There was a mother who lost her son the other day to gun violence. He was getting on the bus. And there was a girl who was walking down the street, and then there was she was going down the street and somebody pulled a gun. It has nothing to do with saying if we had more gun laws or if we just banned guns, this wouldn't have happened. It would still happen because it's crime, and criminals don't follow laws. Just like drug dealers. Drugs are still being sold in this country, even though they are illegal, have been illegal for decades, and they are still selling them, aren't they? Even when alcohol was illegal, people were still selling it, weren't they? It's the same thing. They're just literally trying to use other people's tragedies that have happened to make it seem like if you did what I said, this wouldn't have happened. With no statistical data, they have no situation whatsoever where they can prove it in another example, because Chicago had the strictest gun laws in the fucking country. Yet and still, they led the league, if you will, in most people killed by gun violence for several years. Led the league.
We understand that. Mark and Jackie, I want to tell you,
Look,
it's always good to see you, but not under these circumstances. I want to say, before I introduce the rest of the folks, is, you know, what a lot of people have not been through, what they've been through, don't understand. It takes a lot of courage to come to an event like this. They're absolutely
yep, Mega Mortis, all
to
feelings.
make change. But Mark and Jackie, whose son Daniel was a first grader in Sandy Hook Elementary School.
And here's my thing. And you know what pisses me off about this? They use this one all. This is they one. This is they one. It used to be Columbine was the one to talk about. But now the one to talk about is Sandy Hook because it was children. If y'all really honest and truly gave a shit about what happened to kids, how many kids died at Sandy Hook? Let's see. How many deaths at Sandy Hook? 28. Notice it says 28 right here. Sandy Hook school shooting, 28 people died. Y'all do realize last year I did a show and I counted 20 children under the age of 17 were shot dead in 1 month in Chicago. I'm going to let that sit there for a minute so you can really see where I'm going. 28 people dead. And let me, I'm sorry. No. Let me get my numbers right. Because I don't want to do that. Let me get my numbers right. 20 children dead at Sandy Hook. 20 children died at Sandy Hook Elementary School. Okay? 20 children were killed in Chicago in 1 month under the ages of 17. How come they don't never talk about that? 20 children under the age of 17 in 2020 got killed. 20 kids at Sandy Hook, which was 2012, got killed. So y'all tell me what's the difference? Because it must be, because they still, like I said, this almost 10 years later, and they still talking about Sandy Hook. I'm talking about some shit that happened 12 months, not even 12 months ago, because that shit was in like June, about 11 months ago. Never made national news. Wasn't on CNN. Wasn't at the top of the Black Lives Matter website. Y'all tell me. Because to me, it's just a part of a bullshit ass narrative that they want to tell, and they use this to tell it. Oh, you put it together, huh, Aunt? The poor kids, the poor blacks. Yeah. It's funny how it's a mass shooting everywhere else but Chicago. It's funny. It's really funny. 5 or 6 people get shot in Nebraska, mass shooting. 8 niggas get shot at a funeral in Chicago, gun shoot. There was a shooting. 4 people get shot at a grocery store in Denver, whatever. 5 people get killed at a what do they call it? A banquet hall in Chicago. Shooting. Y'all tell me what's the difference. You tell me what the difference is. And you tell me why ain't nobody saying shit and ain't nobody upset, ain't nobody tripping, ain't nobody talking about little Black Lives Matter too. Black kids matter. How come, where's that movement at? You tell me, how is it that you got somebody like DJ Just Jay who's talking about kids dying more than the news, more than the CNNs, more than the MSNBCs, more than all these other people who so-called care? You tell me, where's the crackdown on people that are killing these kids? And shout out to DJ Just Jay on the AFC. He doing more shows about kids than anybody else I know. Ain't nobody doing as many shows and as many stories about these kids that's getting killed than him. But mainstream media don't give 2 fucks about it. Unless it's a white cop and a black guy, or a black kid and a white cop, they don't give a shit. And I'm going to say, even for white folks, y'all should be upset too. White person get killed by the police, nothing said. Don't even make the paper. Don't even make the news. Don't even make the news. White person gets shot down by the police, nothing.
Daniel loves sports, loves outdoor sports, getting muddy. I see my friend, Fred Gutenberg. His daughter, Jamie, was a freshman at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. She was an accomplished dancer. I see Brandon Wolf, who was the shooting at the Impulse, at the Pulse Club, nightclub. He survived, but his 2 best friends died. Greg Jackson, who was just walking down the street when he was caught in the crossfire of a gunfight. And of course, I see a close friend of Jill's and mine, Congresswoman Gabby Gifford, who is here, who was speaking with her constituents in front of a grocery store in her state when she was shot and a member of her staff was killed. You know, they're here, and their pain is immense.
And here's another little nugget for you guys. All of those people that he just mentioned, all of those deaths that he just talked about, all those people that got shot that he's talked about. You take 6 months in Chicago out of the past 10 years, and it will be at least 4 to 5 times that amount of people. But there's no, hey, what the fuck are y'all doing, Chicago? Y'all do realize that all of those people that he just named, you add them all up, and there's a weekend, one weekend in Chicago that put them numbers to shame. Add them all up, and I got a weekend in Chicago, like any given Sunday. Any given weekend in Chicago will shit on them numbers. And then you'll have somebody like Mayor Lightfoot come and say, well, you know, we had 32 people get shot over the weekend. And, you know, that happens because the weather's getting nice and it's starting to get hot outside. I swear to God, that's what that bitch said last year. People was getting killed more in Chicago because the weather got nice. That's what that bitch had the nerve to say to justify why there was such an uptick in shootings from one week to the next. Over one weekend, that's exactly why she said that's the reason behind it, was because it then got a little hotter outside, and that's when the murders go up in the shy. So mind you, down here in Texas, based on her logic, when it hit 100 degrees, it's a fucking war zone here. Based on her logic, in Arizona, in the summer, it's a fucking war zone there. I'm just telling you, it's so much bullshit. They don't give a shit. And they're trying to play on your emotions just so that they can get their agenda met. That's it. They have an agenda that they are trying to meet. And the fact that they can drop some names, they died. This person died too. You know, them other people died. We just trying to stop the killing, y'all. This the only way. And we buying it. Yeah, you right. Maybe we should give up all guns. Boy, please. Like Joe Biden gonna be there to rack his shotgun when some niggas come kick in your door. And that's the question you need to ask yourself. Well, if we didn't have any guns, what about the criminals who still do? Who's gonna be here to save me when they come and put that iron up against my head? When they come and they kick in my door, waving the 4-4. When they come and run up to my car, and because I gave up my gun being a law-abiding citizen, and they shoot me, or they shoot my kid. Because they are now more emboldened. What you gonna do? Have the mayor come on TV and say, hey, y'all chill out. Y'all know we ain't got no guns no more. Take a chill. Like that stupid motherfucker down in Houston. Went on national fucking TV to tell all of the goddamn criminals to chill for 2 weeks. Don't commit no crimes, y'all. Till we get this COVID thing under wraps. Then we can go back to regular crime committing. And you right, Angry Man. Atlanta, same thing. All of these inner cities that got these Democrats running the show, they all got people dying by the dozens. Every weekend, daily, it's a fucking slaughterhouse.
And you know what a lot of you, hopefully many of you, don't know is you've gone through a trauma. No matter how much you work to make sure others don't go through it, every time you show up at an event like this, it brings back when you got that phone call. It brings back the immediacy of what happened at that moment. So I genuinely mean it. Thank you. Thank you for having the courage to be here, the courage to continue this fight. Senator Blumenthal understands it. A lot of the folks out here understand it. But it takes real courage, so thank you. To turn pain into purpose and demand that we take the action that gives meaning to the word enough. Enough, enough, enough. Because what they want you to know, what they want you to do is not just listen. Every day in this country, 316 people are shot every single day. 106 of them die every day. Our flag was still flying at half-staff for the victims of the horrific murder of 8 primarily Asian American people in Georgia, when 10 more lives were taken in a mass murder in Colorado. You probably didn't hear it, but between those 2 incidents, less than 1 week apart, there were more than 850 additional shootings. 850 that took the lives of more than 250 people and left 500 injured. This is an epidemic, for God's sake. and it has to stop. So I'm here to talk about two things. First, the steps we're going to take immediately. And second, the action that needs to be taken going forward to curb the epidemic of gun violence. I asked the Attorney General and his team to identify for me immediate, concrete actions I could take now without having to go through the Congress. And today I'm announcing several initial steps my administration is taking to curb this epidemic of gun violence. Much more need be done, but the first, want to rein in the proliferation of so-called ghost guns. These are guns that are homemade, built from a kit, that include directions on how to finish the firearm. You can go buy the kit. They have no serial numbers, so when they show up at a crime scene, they can't be traced. And the buyers aren't required to pass a background check to buy the kit.
Here's the thing. What if it's a stolen gun? How is it traced? What if it's a gun that has the serial numbers filed off? How can that be traced? How many guns are left at the scene of a crime? You see what I mean? This is all I'm saying, man. How many crimes, how many shootings have occurred in all of these inner cities where he's talking about, where this gun violence is running rampant, where it's an epidemic? How many of these guns are left at the scene to where people have shot and killed someone, and then the gun was left there? We got the gun, but we don't know who it belongs to. Because a gun that doesn't have a serial number is what he's essentially saying is a ghost gun. So if I buy a gun and I file the serial number off of it, there's no way to find out where that gun was purchased from. Y'all do know that, right? So a ghost gun is not a new thing. It's just a new term given to a gun that doesn't have a serial number. Here's the other question. How many ghost guns are committing murders in today's world? You have no fucking idea, do you? How many niggas do y'all know got 3D printed guns? How many niggas do y'all know that got 3D printers? I'm just saying, how many do y'all know? I'm telling you right now, I know only, and I'm a well-versed motherfucker. If I do say so myself. I know a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds. I know of 2 people that got 3D printers. Both of them are white. What is the difference? It's not like it's not like the GDs and the Vice Lords and the foes is at home making guns. He's fucking lying. He's trying to make you think something that if you didn't know shit about it, you'd think this was a problem. It's not. The GDs and the BDs are not at home with fucking, or in the trap with fucking 3D printers printing out fucking lowers for fucking AR-15s and shit. They're not doing that. And here's the other part to that. If I do print a lower, I still have to obtain and buy an upper. How many niggas do you know? How many gangbangers do you know that's going around asking for uppers? Hey, dog, you know anybody who got some uppers, man? Yeah, I need this upper for this AR-15 I got, bro. I mean, I just 3D printed this AR-10, bro, and I need the upper for it. You know somebody who got one? Hey, yo, man, I just printed out this Draco, man. You know somebody who got a barrel for it? It's all bullshit, people. He's making up something to make it seem like it's a problem when it's not. Do you know how much it would take I'm just being, and I'm just being 100 with y'all. I'm just being as real as I possibly can. This is just what it is. Do you know how much in materials niggas would have? Can you just imagine the amount of raw materials that niggas would have to acquire to print these ghost guns? Imagine how much material, how many 3D printers that these niggas would have to get. Then imagine the knowledge and know how many niggas do you know that got fucking 3D printers, that got the technology and the schematics for those 3D printers, and then got the computers to actually run those 3D printers to print that shit out. Do you know that you have to like scale that shit properly and all that shit? How many niggas you know that can figure that out? How many gang banging, dope slanging ass niggas that's gonna figure out how to 3D print some aluminum some aluminum lowers, or some of that composite, that plastic composite lowers? How many do you know? When a nigga can just take $500 and go buy one. Well, a nigga can go hop in a fucking car, do a smash and grab, and just grab some guns out of a gun store. I'm telling you, it's such bullshit. And the thing is, too, yes, Wolf Bear, the thing is, even when those people that are printing out these 3D parts, the technology hasn't even gotten to the point to where these guns are even that reliable. They're not that reliable. Matter of fact, hold on. There ain't a motherfucker that I know that could print out this piece here. I would break it down for you, but I ain't about to go through all of that right now. It would be just this. Take this barrel off, just this part down here. This part right here. I don't know of a motherfucker that can print something that's of quality like this that's gonna work. This motherfucker gonna work for the next 100 years. Ain't nobody printing these to where it's an epidemic. It's not happening. Let old Sleepy Joe tell you though, it is. It's bullshit.
To make the gun.
Making guns.
Consequently, anyone.
Man, think about that in itself. Just think about that in it. Man, you let a motherfucker come tell me, hey man, these niggas is making guns. You know what I'm gonna say? What? Hey man, you know such and such now? Man, them niggas over there making guns, Joe. I'm be like, what? Get your lying ass out of here. If you don't get your lying ass the fuck out of my face, if you don't get your lying ass the fuck up out of my face, if you don't get your lying ass the fuck out of my face. What kind of shit is that? Niggas is making guns now, huh? That's what they're doing. Fuck all this bullshit. Fuck all these motherfuckers is down. These kids is down because these niggas is making guns. That's what he's saying. He's trying to tell people that. It's such bullshit. You're trying to tell me that niggas are making guns. And it's to the proportion of an epidemic. Man, get the fuck out of my face on the internet.
Anyone from a criminal to a terrorist can buy this kit in as little as 30 minutes, put together a weapon. You know, I want to see these kits treated.
See, this is what James Grant said. I know someone, but that has that quality printer, but that is a multi-million-dollar polymer research group. Exactly. It's like, people don't understand what it takes to do that. Now, if you just want to do something that's novel, you want to make some shit, great. I get it. You want to be creative. People are not producing lowers like that. They're just not. They don't have the fucking. Do you realize that? Let me give you some facts. Let's walk this down and let's be logical. If it was that easy to make lowers, trust and believe, everybody would be doing it. Excuse me. Everybody would be doing it. I'm talking, and I ain't talking about just your game, but I'm talking about your back in the woods, your white boys that love to just sit back and make shit, that all of your fucking welders and all of that shit, they would be making a mint. They would be cranking them out by the hundreds, and they would be selling them. That's what they would be doing. They would be selling these motherfuckers like hotcakes. Build your own gun in just 2 days. Build your own gun in just 2 hours. Put your own gun together in a matter of minutes. That's what they would be doing. If there was some real serious money that could be made and the quality was there to do it, they would be doing it, and it would be getting done to the proportion of where it would be putting these other AR-15 manufacturers out of business. We wouldn't need a Daniel Defense. We wouldn't need a Barrett. We wouldn't need a Palmetto State. We would not need these Colt. We wouldn't need a Smith & Wesson. We wouldn't need a Springfield Arms. They would be out of business, literally. With the gun boom that we've had in the past year, the most guns that have ever been purchased have just been purchased this last year. They would be out of business if you could make this shit at home. Now, there's some factual information for you. You can take that shit and really apply it. It ain't just me talking out the side of my neck. I just walked it down for you. If it could be done, and it was that much of an epidemic with the high demand of guns today, and I didn't have to wait because I got a white boy that's making them at a goddamn parking lot somewhere, and I can just go get the pieces, I do it. I would do it. It would be that easy to get done. And these people would be out of business. Daniel Defense and all them motherfuckers would be banding together like, we got to stop these motherfuckers from making these parts. They putting us out of business. Just telling you. All of these gun manufacturers are literally, they can't make them fast enough. They're all on back order. They all are on back order. I went, look, madam, let me show y'all this. I told y'all I got a new gun video I got to do. I just bought this gun right here. And no, it is not loaded. You can clearly see. Not loaded. This is a Mossberg Shockwave. Beautiful firearm, beautiful shotgun, right? I just bought this. Do you know how long it took me to get this? This is a fucking shotgun. This is a Sleepy Joe Biden special. Do you know how long it took me to get this? It took me 6 weeks. And I was literally hunting on the fucking internet to get it. I could not get it in a store. I could not get it from a whore. I could not get it from a parking lot. I could not get it from a gun shop. I could not get them anywhere, Sam I Am. I could not get this shotgun in my hand. This shit was so hard to find. The price of it was initially $299. This motherfucker here cost me $500. And I had to search for it for 6 weeks. Then I had to have it shipped here to an FFL to get it. And the only reason why I found it was a friend of mine said, hey man, I just saw on this website they got them. Here you go. Here go the link. You better get it now. And I did just that. This is a shotgun. Imagine what the weight is for these fucking AR-15s. Imagine what the weight is for these Glocks. I'm telling you, man, it's not a thing to where if they could make these shits, they would be doing it. Trust me, because the market is screaming for it. Screaming for it. So if it could be done in this capitalistic motherfucking country we got here, don't you know that they would be doing it, man? Jeez.
It's firearms under the Gun Control Act, which is going to require that the seller and manufacturers make the key parts with serial numbers. And
now here's where the bullshit starts. If I'm a manufacturer and I got to make it where the key parts are, you notice his punk ass didn't say what the key parts were, did he?
Run background checks on the buyers when they walk in to buy that package.
Here's the thing. Who decides what the key parts are? The ATF? These motherfuckers are fucking around with these. They can't even come to a consensus on a goddamn pistol brace. What's a SBR and what's not? Y'all do know that this is considered a pistol. This is not a shotgun. Based on the ATF, this is a pistol. That's what they're saying this is. Not the smartest motherfuckers in the goddamn bunch. Just saying, it's like when you're talking about what we gonna do this. Well, you say we gonna do, we gotta put all the key parts. What the fuck is a key part? Because in my opinion, 90% of the shit that's on a gun is a key part. Do I gotta put a fucking serial number on the bolt carrier? That's a fucking key part in my opinion, isn't it? Do I gotta put a serial number on the firing pin? Right. You gotta put serial numbers on all the key parts. What? It's like, dude, what is a key part? The barrel? So now I gotta put serial number on the upper and the lower? Is the stock a key part? Who decides this? What about the trigger group? Is that not a key part? Then it's like, now you get all of this shit that has to happen. Now what do you think is gonna happen to the gun? Add another 90% to cost, right, James? It's gonna shoot the fucking price up. Why? Because every part that I'm usually stamping and making, now I gotta get some type of serialization system put in place where I can serialize every goddamn piece that the ATF or the government is gonna deem is a major part. And that can all change based on who's in fucking office. So now I got to pay for this system. I got to track these fucking serial numbers. Then I got to have somebody put on these serial numbers. Where do you think all that cost is going to come from? And who's going to absorb it? Us. So now that $1,500 rifle is probably going to now cost you probably about $2,500, $2,600. That's going to be at least a few $100s added on to every fucking pistol, every fucking gun, every fucking rifle, every fucking shotgun. Why? Because some dumbass who don't know shit about guns will say, yeah, everything should be serialized. Right. So when the criminal gets the gun, they file the serial numbers off of it, kill a motherfucker, leave it at the scene, I guess. And then when you find it, they say, hey, we got the gun. Great. Let's get the serial numbers off of it, and then we'll find out who had it. Ain't no serial numbers on here. What? You heard me, boss. Ain't no serial numbers on this gun. What? What happened to them? They must have filed them all off. Off for every part of the gun? Yeah. Hey, we don't know whose gun this was. Why not? Because they filed off all the serial numbers. What? Stupid shit.
The second action we're going to take. Back in the year 2000, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms released a report on its investigations of firearms trafficking in America. The report was of pivotal value. It was an important tool for policymakers when I was in the Senate and beyond, at all levels, to stop firearms from being illegally diverted into dangerous hands. Today, with online sales and ghost guns, trafficking methods have changed, and we have to adjust. We also have to ask the Justice Department to release a new annual report. This report will better help policymakers address firearms trafficking as it is today, not what it was yesterday.
And here's my thing. Why are we tracking firearms to what purpose? Because when I buy a firearm, serial numbers put down in the wholesale and transaction. So there it is. Why do you want more tracking of firearms? Online sales. When I bought that gun online, when I went and picked it up from my FFL, it was the same process as if I was buying it in the store. I'm just telling you, that was my first time ever buying a gun from an FFL. Actually, no, it wasn't. I bought my rifle. It's kind of like the same way. Well, my rifle, when I bought it, it got ordered from my gun store. The gun store that I went to, shout out to 616 in Michigan. They actually did all of the legwork for me. And then I still had to fill out the same paperwork. But when I got this gun and I bought this gun online myself, and I had to have it sent to an FFL. That FFL, when I went to pick it up, I was in that goddamn store, even though he was a new guy and was kind of slow. I was in that store and they went through the same process as if I was actually buying the gun like from the counter. So what is the difference? What is this additional tracking for? What do you need to track more of? Why do you need serial numbers on all the parts and all of that shit? Right. And like Mega Morta said, God forbid if I get all these parts registered, because all these serial numbers, I'm telling you right now, all of these serial numbers that they want to put on these parts are going to have to go on to the gun sale. But what if I do all of that and then I got to replace a part? Then what do I got to do now? I need my trigger sear got damaged. My barrel is warped. Need a new bolt carrier. I upgraded my bolt carrier, upgraded my charging handle. What if I do all of that and then what? I got to now re-register everything? That's going to cost money. I got to pay to do that. So I buy a new part, then I got to pay to register that new part. I upgrade my gun, I got to pay to register my upgraded gun. It's bullshit, man. Straight bullshit. And I'm telling you, the reason why they wanted more, the reason why you want to track something more and more and more is so that you can have as much information as you possibly can so that you can control what happens to it after it's sold. Just like a service plan, when you buy a television, you buy a computer, you buy a phone, all of that information is collected. Why? Because there are warranties on it. You get a refrigerator, you get a stove, you get a washer and dryer. All of that stuff, you have serial numbers with those service plans. Why? Because if they ever need to swap it out, they know what they sold you and when you bought it. So when they come get it, they know exactly what they're coming to get. You can't just get another TV. Like I got my TV in the front room right now. The panel went bad in it, and the color, it's all discolored and shit. So I got to get another TV. But I had a service plan. They wasn't gonna do shit for that TV until I gave them the serial number. So they can know. They knew when I bought it. They know where I had it delivered. They know all of that shit. How much I paid for it. They knew how much it would cost to get fixed, and they weighed that cost basis the repair, and they said, nah, man, fuck it, we'll just give you another one. They want to do all of this shit so that they can find out who got what and where they at. So just like they did over in Germany, when they want to come get it, all they got to do is pull it up on the computer. Go online, and there it all will be. So now I'll know exactly how many guns Mega Mortis got. I know exactly where Mega Mortis live. I got all the serial numbers that Mega Mortis got because he registered all of his guns, all of his gun parts, everything that Mega Mortis upgraded his guns over the past 15, 20 years. I got all the serial numbers for it. So when I come get it, I'm coming to get it all. And yes, Big Time of Gaming, not only are they going to have that registration, but now they're going to have you pay for their government insurance to own a gun, and then you'll have to pay the taxes on that. You'll have to pay registration fees because every gun will have to register in order for us to maintain this registry, so we'll have health stuff, keep us all safe. Everybody got to pay a registration fee every year, just like you pay when you buy a fucking car. Just like how you pay when you get your fucking driver's license. Just like you pay when you get fucking insurance on your car. It's all mandatory, isn't it? Yep. And so there's now some dumbass who's trying to take what I'm saying. Well, see, if you got a car, why can't you do the same thing for a gun? Because driving a car is a fucking privilege, you dumbass. Owning a gun is a right. There's a difference. Privileges get taken away and get regulated by state. Rights, that's for everybody when you're born on this fucking soil and when you become a citizen.
The third change, we want to treat pistols modified with stabilizing braces with the seriousness they deserve. A stabilizing brace hook in a pencil essentially makes that pistol a hell of a lot more accurate than a mini rifle. As a result, it's more lethal.
That is not true. A stabilizing brace on a SBR does not make that pistol more accurate. It does not. The only reason why they had to do that is because all of the fucking SBR rules, because you motherfuckers wanted to tax us and we had to get fucking stamps for all of the fucking SBRs. So changing that fucking pistol brace changing that pistol thing to a fucking brace does not make the gun more accurate. He's a dumbass. He just made that shit up because some stupid motherfucker who don't know nothing about guns wrote this dumbass's speech for him, and he just reading what the fuck he's being told.
Effectively turn it into a short-barreled rifle.
It's already a short barrel rifle. You're the dumbasses, you and the fucking ATF, y'all the stupid motherfuckers that got together to try to figure all this shit out to try to keep people from owning these guns, to say, hey man, this is what we got to do. Well, we going to do this. Well, if we do this, then that wouldn't be it. Then if we do that, then that wouldn't be it neither. Well, we could tell them to do this and that'll be right. And exactly, you are right, guys. That brace was created for people with disabilities. That's what it was initially created for. It was initially created for disabled people. But because these motherfuckers were such assholes, everybody else had to use it in order to be able to fucking own the gun. That's what it is.
The alleged shooter in Boulder appears to have done. I want to be clear.
And it's clear. You want to be clear? I want to be clear too, Joe. Mr. President, in all actuality, in all honesty, sir, you don't know shit about guns. Shout out to my man Leviathan, hit your boy with $10. You don't know shit about guns, dude. You don't know a goddamn thing about guns. You just don't. And I find it quite offensive to have somebody telling me about guns when they don't know shit about them.
These modifications to firearms that make them more lethal should be subject to the national...
A brace does not make the gun more lethal. It doesn't. It's literally, it's just a support apparatus. That's all it is. It doesn't make the gun more lethal. It's a support apparatus. That's it. That was invented for disabled people. That's it. Veterans and civilians. That's all it's for.
Firearms Act. The National Firearms Act requires that a potential owner pay $200 fee and submit their name and other identifying information to the Justice Department.
What? $200? And I gotta submit this shit? Are you fucking kidding me? If that ain't taxation without representation, I don't know what the fuck is. So now y'all just gonna tax me just for the fucking sake of taxing me. Because you know motherfuckers got guns, you know motherfuckers want guns. So hey, we can make a pretty penny off of this and we can show up our own motherfucking pet projects and shit we want to do with some of this fucking money. $200 for me to fucking own a gun. So I go buy a High Point for $200, might be on sale for $150. I gotta pay $200 on that? Are y'all serious? Are you fucking kidding me? If I go buy a fucking SBR with a suppressor on it, I'm going to have to pay $200 for the SBR, $200 for the suppressor, and then I'm going to have to pay $200 just to register this motherfucker. That would literally add $600 onto an SBR that's purchased with a suppressor. So not only I got to pay an arm and a leg for the fucking gun, I got to pay an arm and a leg for the goddamn suppressor, but then I got to pay an arm and a leg for the government just to have what the fuck I'm spending my money on. Y'all know these niggas love to buy these High Points. And I dog a motherfucker. Every motherfucker that get one too. My motherfucker brother-in-law had a High Point. He had a High Point in a nylon holster. I said, boy, if you ain't got the cheapest gun set up in America, I don't know what the fuck is. I said, why you carrying something around on your hip that you don't even know it'll work? It'll do work. I'm like, man, get that shit out of here. I said, you know, once you get finished, if you ever empty the magazine, they tell you, High Point, they tell you to actually take that gun and to throw it at the person. Because it ain't good for shit else. And all you motherfuckers out there with High Points, I'm talking to y'all too. They tell you once you get through that first mag of that High Point, just throw it at the motherfucker. Because it ain't going to work again on the reload, I'm telling you. Motherfucking High Point with the $100 bill wrap on it. You niggas. That's it. I'm gonna tell you, the $100 bill wrapped High Point is racist. Cause ain't nobody but niggas gonna buy some shit like that. That, sir, is the first and the only racist gun I have ever seen. Yes. The $100 bill wrapped High Point is a racist fucking gun. That's all I'm saying. Chuck said my mag split. See?
Say they would if they went out and purchased a silencer for a gun.
Right.
Fourthly, during my campaign for president, I wanted to make it easier for states to adopt extreme risk protection order laws. They're also called red flag laws, which everybody in this lawn knows, but many people listening do not know.
Yep.
These laws allow a police or family member to petition a court in their jurisdiction and say, I want you to temporarily remove from the following people any firearm they may possess because they're a danger and a crisis. They're presenting a danger to themselves and to others.
So essentially, you're telling me that someone who does not have a psychology background, someone who is not a medical professional, gets to tell the police that you need to come and get their guns, and the police will come and take their guns, and then what? They now have to go to court to fight to get their guns back. Yeah, that makes a lot of fucking sense. Anybody could just say that. Family member, girlfriend, a mad bitch, whatever the fuck, anybody who don't like your ass could potentially tell the fucking government to come get your guns, and then you gotta go back and forth, taking off work, doing all this other shit to get the guns back to actually exercise your constitutional right that is given to you by the Bill of Rights to actually have a gun. I got to go fight for it because of what a motherfucker said. Now, here's the funny part. Wouldn't that be called hearsay? Well, how do you know? Well, I was just talking with the person. They didn't sound right. Well, do you have any evidence? Well, I'm just telling you. You don't want to be wrong on this one now, do you, officer? Well, I guess not. That's what it is. The fact that they're even entertaining that anybody, a motherfucker can just call on your ass. And you don't even know who the fuck it is. You don't even know who the fuck called. You break up with your girlfriend, you leave her for some other woman, she mad at you, she gonna fuck you over. Tell me a woman ain't gonna do that. You don't loan your motherfucking auntie no money. You don't loan your family member no money. You don't let your uncle use your high point to go to the gun range. He called the motherfucking law and they come take it. Now what? Now you got to go get gas and you sitting out there with a finger gun while you pumping gas. I hope don't nobody come fuck with me tonight, man. I need 10 on 6. Officer come knocking at my door talking about, yeah, man, we got a call. They said that you ain't been acting right. You need to go get your gun. I'm going to be like, what? If you don't get the fuck up off my door with that bullshit, if you don't get the fuck up out my door with that bullshit, if you don't get the fuck up off my door with that bullshit. Like, come the fuck on. That's not even well thought out. That's just some old, we could do this red flag law where we could flag these people and the government come get them and then that's a good idea. Motherfucker, please. Makes no sense. But a lot of shit that these motherfuckers do and talk about when it comes to guns make no sense.
And the court makes a ruling.
Makes a
Put this
ruling.
in perspective, more than half of all suicides, for example, involve the use of a firearm. But when a gun's not available, an attempt at suicide, the death rate drops precipitously.
Precipitously. Wow. I don't know if that's a word or not. I haven't heard it before, but whatever. Let's say that it is. Here's my thing. If people didn't have guns, the suicide rate wouldn't drop precipitously because those people would use drugs. Those people would use razors. Those people would still kill themselves. It's not the fact that they're saying, I almost killed myself last night, man. For real? Yeah, what happened? Man, I was just tired, man. I was just done. I was just over with, but I didn't do it. Why not? Because I didn't have my gun. What? Had I had my gun, I'd have killed myself last Thursday. Mm-hmm. I was going to kill myself Tuesday. Why? How come you didn't? I was still printing my gun in my basement. Boy, the fuck out of here.
States that have red flag laws have seen the reduction in the number of suicides in their states. Every single month, by the way, an average of 53 women are shot and killed by an intimate partner. I wrote the Violence Against Women Act. It's been a constant struggle to keep it moving. We know red flag laws can have significant effect in protecting women from domestic violence. And we know red flag laws can stop mass shooters before they can act out their violent plans. I'm proud, excuse the point of personal privilege we used to say in the Senate, I'm proud that the red flag law in my home state of Delaware was named after my son, Attorney General Beau Biden, our son, excuse me, Joe, who proposed that legislation back in 2013. I want to see a national red flag law and legislation to incentivize states to enact their own red flag laws. Today, I asked the Justice Department to publish a model red flag legislation so states can start crafting their own laws right now. Just like with background checks, the vast majority of the Americans support these extreme risk protection order laws. And it's time to put these laws on the books and protect even more people.
They don't.
The Attorney General will have more to say about this in a moment. Additionally, we recognize that cities across the country are experiencing historic spikes in homicides, as the law enforcement can tell you. The violence is hitting black and brown communities the hardest. Homicide is the leading cause of death of black boys and men ages 15 to 34. The leading cause of death.
And that's true. However, the guns that are used are not used by law-abiding citizens. The people that have those guns are not law-abiding citizens. The criminals are actually using those guns, are not supposed to have them. And here's another interesting fact. The gun that is being used 99% of the time is a handgun and not an AR-15 or what they call assault weapon style gun or a weapon of war gun. Y'all do know it's something like 300 people or something like 300 shootings occur every year that are the result of a rifle or an AR-15 style platform type of gun. So your AKs, your AR-15s, all of those guns, it's like only 300 of those a year. The rest are all handguns. So you decided to live, huh, Scope? Insane.
But there are proven strategies that reduce gun violence in urban communities.
Where are these proven strategies, and how come they have not been implemented in any of these urban cities to show that? Nothing but another lie. Dark Knight Mentality says, do you notice that they are making laws that do the same thing as previous laws? The red flag law is already inherent in the background check. Dude, let me tell you something. Here's the thing. They're just making more laws for law-abiding citizens. There is no other crime, no other criminal epidemic or anything. Hillary said, stop clowning my high point. Nigga, you got a high point? Shame on you. There is no crime or no epidemic. There's nothing in this world that is happening and is being fixed by creating more and more gun laws around it. There is nothing that is killing people where people are dying from this particular thing, but we're stopping it because we've made more laws for it. It's an illegal thing. It's illegal to just kill somebody because whatever the fuck they did is not self-defense. It's illegal. If you're not protecting your life or someone else's life who's about to suffer death or grave bodily harm, it's illegal to do that. There is no other epidemic that is occurring whether we need more knife laws. We need more sticks and stone laws. We need more driving laws. There are none. There are hundreds of thousands of people that die from vehicular homicide every year. Intentionally, accidentally, and those are accidents. They're not on purpose. How many new driving laws have y'all seen brought to the forefront? Where is the red flag driving law? I can't report you to the police and they come take your car, then you got to go to court to get it back, do you? Where is there a law that shows that? No. Where are the knife laws at? I can't tell you that you need to go get all the knives out of this person's house because I believe that they did something, might do something to somebody, and they come and take all your kitchen knives and all that shit, then you got to go back to court and get it? No. Because it can't be done. You ain't got to have no serial number on every knife you have in your house. Your kitchen knife, your chef knife, your Santoku knife. You don't have to have a serial number on that fucking knife, do you? You don't have to pay to get it registered, do you? No, you don't. It's bullshit.
And there are programs that have demonstrated they can reduce homicides by up to 60%. And
there aren't any programs, and there is no statistical data that shows this. They literally just made that shit up. There is no statistical data, and there is no program that proves this. And if a motherfucker come with some, oh, well, see, over in Europe, they did it that. Well, Europe don't have what we have. There is no other country on the face of the earth where the citizens have guns and have access to guns like we do. So you telling me about some shit that happened in Switzerland, some shit that happened over in Nova Scotia, some shit that happened in Russia, some shit that happened in Norway, or wherever the fuck else you want to come up with, you can't compare it to the US of A because none of them were at the point that the US of A was at when it comes to gun and gun ownership. We have a gun culture here. They don't have that in Switzerland. They don't have that in Norway. They don't have that in the UK. They don't. So nah.
Communities. But many of these have been badly underfunded or not funded at all.
And here's my thing too, to that point. They've never had any of this happen in his, and you know what? Let me keep it 100. Let me tell you the real truth behind this. The reason why he said it's happened in other cities and not telling you the city is because it's never happened. And that's why I said he's a fucking lie and the truth ain't in him. You know why? Because if they could tell you that city, they would be using it as the standard. They would use it as the model. They would tell you, we did this in South Carolina, or we did this in Detroit back in 1998. And for 8 years, because we had this ban and because we had these rules and these laws in place, and it was all good, it lowered the gun violence by 60%. Here is the statistical data that proves it, and here it goes. They would have that city that did it on a pedestal. It would be the standard. It would be the flagship of gun control if it ever existed, but it hasn't. Just like when he was lying, talking about, yeah, there are so many people who are gun owners who say they want additional background checks. It's not true. You made it up. Where are these people? They're nowhere to be found. You found one or two people that agree with you. Oh, I agree we should have more background checks. That's not the majority of gun owners. You didn't poll the majority of gun owners. You found a motherfucker that owned a gun and said, hey, can I ask you a question? Or you found a motherfucker and said, hey, I need you to say this. Say you got guns and say this. I'm just telling you, if they had something that actually was what he's saying, they would tell you what it is. They would show you. Just like how he always talk about, yeah, I took on the NRA and I won. He never tells you that the reason why his 10-year assault weapons ban was dissolved, because the statistical data showed it didn't work. There was no decrease in gun violence. None. That's why they said, yeah, we're only going to do it for 10 years. They gave him 10 years and it didn't work. And they said, nah, player, we good. You can get rid of this. Well, why? Because the shit don't work.
Gun violence in America, for those of you who think of this from an economic standpoint listening to me, estimated to cost the nation $280 billion, let me say it again, $280 billion a year. You say, how could that be, Joe? Hospital bills, physical therapy, the leading cause of death. There are proven strategies that reduce gun violence in urban communities. And there are programs that have demonstrated they can reduce homicides by up to 60% in urban communities. But many of these have been badly underfunded or not funded at all of late.
And if that was the truth, then how could they get to that 60%? Or why wouldn't you have the statistical data to prove that? Or even the location. Where the fuck in the USA is this occurring? But whatever.
Gun violence in America, for
Let's hear
those
this.
of you who think of this from an economic standpoint listening to me, estimated to cost the nation $280 billion, let me say it again, $280 billion a year.
Okay.
You say, how could that be, Joe? Hospital bills.
Y'all tell me when the last time the government picked up a hospital bill for some niggas that got shot. I'll wait. And hold on, let me just say this. If that was the case, wouldn't that just be a drop in the bucket to the $6 trillion this dude has already spent in the first 100 days? Would that not be just a drop in the bucket? 280 billion compared to the $6 trillion y'all have already spent? Y'all do know that, right? In 100 days, this motherfucker has spent $6 trillion. And he's talking about 280 billion? Come on, man. Come on here now. How the fuck are you now this frugal motherfucker who wants to save and count every penny when you just spent $6 trillion? In 100 days, you spent $6 trillion. Exactly, Lewis. $6 trillion on what? Nothing but pork and pet projects. That's it. They've only spent something like maybe $1 billion or so, maybe a few $1 billion on COVID. All the rest of this shit has went to pet projects. Y'all remember that show I did when we added up all that goddamn shit they put in that other bill that Trump had passed right before the election? And he called their ass out on it. These motherfuckers are just printing money.
Physical therapy, trauma counseling, legal fees.
How many niggas you know that's getting shot in these streets that's not going to physical therapy, but going to trauma counseling? Y'all tell me, please. Just tell me. Right. If we can send $200 billion over to Colombia, then goddamn it, we can spend $280 billion on motherfuckers getting shot here in the country. Fuck that. It's really something how we get to send, and we just so good at sending all this money to all this foreign aid to all these other fucking countries in the fucking world. But the minute it comes time to spend some money on the citizens here, on both sides, Republicans and Democrats, they the most frugal motherfuckers in the world. Then they want to count every fucking dime. Then you know why? You know why they get that way? Because when they spending that money that's going overseas, them motherfuckers are all getting kickbacks and not consultation, but they're getting consultant fees and all that shit. They're lining their pockets, doing the overlay for the underlay with all that money they sending out on foreign aid. And it's a bunch of bullshit.
Prison costs and the loss of productivity. not to mention the psychological damage done to the children.
The loss of productivity. How loss of productivity? So I guess the people who are doing the shooting are affecting the workforce to the tune where companies and shit can't function because niggas is getting shot. How many niggas you know that's getting shot that got these real important jobs that, you know, it fucks up the productivity of the company because they ain't there because they got shot over the weekend? How many thugs you know that got these real important high paying jobs to where they get shot and they off work? It's hurting the company's productivity. Man, whatever.
In these cities, watching this happen, knowing someone it happened to, this gun violence in our neighborhood is having profound impact on our children, even if they're never involved in pulling the trigger or being the victim of on the other side of the trigger. For a fraction of the cost of gun violence, we can save lives, create safe and healthy communities, and build economies that work for all of us.
How do you do that? By making more gun laws? I'd love to know it. Because essentially what you're saying is that once you make these laws, the violence is going to go down upwards of 60%. How do you do that with laws when the criminals are the ones that don't follow laws and they're the ones that's committing the crimes? I'd love to know that. I'd love to know that.
And save billions of American dollars. In the meantime, much of it, as Senator Cicilline knows, is taxpayer money. Fine.
And if you care about taxpayer money so much, why are you sending so much of it overseas to other countries? If that's really the concern, why do we have so much foreign spending? Why do we have so many tens of millions of dollars going to shit like museums that are closed? You see how that's just bullshit?
The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the key agency enforcing gun laws, hasn't had a permanent director since 2015. Today, I'm proud to nominate David Chipman to serve as the director of the AFT. David knows the AFT well. He served there for 25 years. And Vice President Harris and I believe he's the right person at this moment for this important agency. And I've said before, my job, the job of any president, is to protect the American people. Whether Congress acts or not, I'm going to use all the resources at my disposal as president to keep the American people safe from gun violence. But there's much more that Congress can do to help that effort. And they can do it right now. They've offered plenty of thoughts and prayers, members of Congress, but they've passed not a single new federal law to reduce gun violence. Enough prayers.
And the reason why and why they shouldn't is because the shit doesn't work. It's just that simple.
Time for some action. I believe the Senate should immediately pass 3 House-passed bills to close loopholes that allow gun purchases.
Yes, his dumb ass said the AFT. Yes, he said the AFT. Right. Anti-Freedom Task Force. Yes. The AFT.
Purchasers to bypass the background checks. The vast majority of the American people, including gun owners, believe there should be background checks.
There's a lie he keeps telling. Here's the thing, people. I don't know why they keep telling this lie. Background checks are already done. I don't, and they keep saying it, and that just goes to show that these people must not be buying guns. Or they just like fucking lying because they want to get a gun registry. That's what that's the end game. That's the foresight to this. They can't take guns until they get a gun registry. The reason why they say they want to get a gun registry so they can say that they can get this whole little thing together and say, we still got to get a gun registry, guys. That's why we can't really reduce the gun violence. That's what they want to do. That's the long game. Because a gun registry is how you take guns. Ask Germany, ask Australia, ask good old fashioned Venezuela, and now you can ask Canada because they're on their way next.
As was noted earlier, hundreds of thousands of people have been denied guns because of the background checks. What more would have happened? These bills, one, require background checks for anyone purchasing a gun at a gun show or an online sale.
They already do it.
Most people don't know it. You walk into a store and you buy a gun, you have a background check. But you go to a gun show, you can buy whatever you want and no background check. Second thing is to close what's known as the Charleston loophole. Like people here, I spent time down at that church in Charleston. What happened is someone was allowed to get the gun used to kill those innocent people at the church service. If the FBI didn't complete the background check within 3 days, there's a process. If it wasn't done in 3 days, according to the Charleston loophole, you get to buy the gun.
And you know how that happens? Because you have FBI agents calling wrong police departments to verify when they do get a hit. And then you don't have enough infrastructure for FBI agents to do the shit. It's that simple.
They bought the gun and killed a hell of a lot of innocent people who invited him to pray with them. And three, reauthorize the Violence Against Women Act, which is so-called close the boyfriend and stalking loopholes to keep guns out of the hands of people found by a court to be an abuser and continuing threat. I held over 1,000 hours of hearings to pass.
Here's my thing. What would stop a person, a boyfriend that's an abuser, or a girlfriend that's an abuser? What would stop them from getting a gun illegally if they're denied one legally? I'll wait.
The Violence Against Women Act. And one thing came through. If, in fact, a stay-away order, an order preventing the abuser from coming in a certain distance of the person he has abused, or
which always gets violated.
And now, the idea that they can own a weapon when they have a court order saying they are an abuser, these are some of the best tools we have right now to prevent gun violence and save lives. But all these bills, they had support of both Democrats and Republicans in the House. And universal background checks are supported by the vast majority of the American people. And I might add, the vast majority of responsible gun owners.
That's not true. He's just lying. But the thing is, if you have something like that in place, when it comes time for that person who has a domestic abuse case or whatever the case may be, they got a domestic, you got a case. If you have not been found guilty, whatever happened to the whole innocent till proven guilty thing? Because you're making it seem like people don't lie. You're making it seem as though that a woman won't call the police on a person, and then they lock that person up, and then she'll be the first one saying don't lock him up, or she'll be down there the next day to bail him out. Like that don't happen. It's all bullshit, man. It just is. And my whole thing is, you can tell me you got these isolated incidents where shit did go left. All I'm saying is this. There is no statistical data that shows that creating more laws would actually stop what it is that you're claiming it would. And that to me is beyond deceptive. It's just outright fucking unconstitutional. To fuck with my rights because of some shit you can't even prove, and the fact that I have a right to bear arms and you want to take that away or fuck with it because this is what you feel would happen, I find that offensive.
So let me be clear. This is not a partisan issue among the American people. This is a view by the American people as an American issue.
No, you're lying. This is not what the people are saying. This is just what you and your camp is saying.
And I'm willing to work with anyone to get these done.
How are you willing to work on you're willing to work with anyone and you are barely meeting with motherfuckers? You writing so many goddamn executive orders around immigration, you ain't got time to meet with no goddamn body. You so full of shit. You talking about you want to meet with people, and the people who telling you what to do are telling you you can't meet with people. You can't even answer questions after a goddamn press conference because somebody is telling you, no, you're not doing that. But you willing to meet with people. Get the fuck out of here, man. It's all a fucking lie. You don't even know what the fuck you do. You don't even have the authority to tell yourself what you gonna do. You can't say, I'm taking questions after this, and it happens. There's somebody saying, no, you ain't. And then you're like, oh, okay. Where we going next? You are a fucking puppet, sir. A shell of the politician that you used to be. You don't even call your own fucking shots.
And it's long past time that we act. Now, I know this has been a hobby horse of mine for a long time. Got it done once. We should also ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines in this country.
Here we go. And then this is it after this. But this is the kicker here.
For that 10 years we had it done, the number of mass shootings actually went down.
Fucking lie. Statistical data by the Department of Justice said that shit made no difference. But what does he do here? He lies. Statistical data, facts, goddammit, by the Department of Justice. They said, hey, that shit did not happen. And what does he do? I'll just keep telling a lie. Hopefully it'll become the truth one day. That's exactly, Dark Knight. That's exactly why they overturned it. Because they said this shit didn't work. It didn't do anything.
Even law enforcement officials have told me and told other champions of this legislation, they sometimes feel outgunned by assault weapons with large capacity magazines. There's no reason.
How are you outgunned when you have automatic rifles? You heard that right? Yeah. Law enforcement got that full ride. They can get that full ride on their motherfucking AR-15s. They don't need no bump stock. They can get that full ride if they want it. How the fuck? Man, if you don't get the fuck out of my face on the internet.
Someone needs a weapon of war with 100 rounds, 100 bullets that can be fired from that weapon. Nobody needs that.
Nobody needs a car that goes 180 miles an hour. Nobody needs a car that goes 150 miles an hour. Nobody needs a car that goes 120 miles an hour. You know why? Because the speed limit, the highest speed limit anywhere, I believe, is 100 miles, ain't it? Or 90. So how come we don't make all vehicles to stay under that speed limit threshold? No, it's higher than 65. Out in California, I believe it's 90. I think you can do 90 out in LA. So I'm just saying, you talking about what we need and what we don't need, it doesn't matter. Because here's the thing. If a 100-round magazine is illegal, does that mean that criminals won't use them?
Nobody needs that. We got that done when I was a United States Senator. It wasn't easy going up against the gun lobby, but it saved lives.
And it didn't work.
And we should also eliminate gun manufacturers from the immunity they receive from the Congress. You realize?
So if I shoot somebody with my Beretta, then you telling me that the gun manufacturer can get sued? So if I stab somebody with my Wusthof German steel kitchen knife, then you should be able to sue the knife company? So if I kill somebody with a Louisville Slugger baseball bat, you're telling me that you can now go and sue Louisville Slugger? So if I kill somebody with a hockey stick, you can go and sue the hockey stick manufacturer. So if I run somebody over with my Dodge Challenger, then you can go and sue Chrysler. Yeah, that makes a lot of fucking sense. Right. I hit you, Miriam said, or sue Ford. I hit you with my fucking Expedition, you can go sue Ford. Fuck me and my insurance. I'm going to sue Ford. They made the truck. It's fucking stupid.
Again, the people here, because they're so knowledgeable on here in the Rose Garden. But what piece of people don't realize, the only industry in America, $1 billion industry, that can't be sued, has exempt from being sued, are gun manufacturers.
That's not true. Because if I make a fucking faulty fucking airbag or some shit like that in my vehicle and people die from it, because of it, can't you sue them? If fucking Sig Sawyer make a fucking gun that explodes or some shit like that because it's poorly made, you mean to tell me you can't sue them? I don't know about that.
Imagine how different it would be had that same exemption been available to tobacco companies who knew and lied about the danger they were causing, the cancer caused and the like.
And yet you still have cigarettes. And yet you still have cigarettes.
Imagine where we'd be. But this is the only outfit that is exempt from being sued. If I get one thing on my list, the Lord came down and said, Joe, you get one of these, give me that one. Because I tell you what, there would be a come to the Lord moment these folks would have real quickly. But they're not. They're not. They're exempt. I know that the conversation about guns in this country can be a difficult one.
How about you just make the discussion about guns a logical, factual, truthful one? Then it won't be as difficult.
But even here, there's much more common ground than anyone would believe. There's much more common ground. Everything that's being proposed today is totally consistent with the Second Amendment.
And that's a lie. It is not, man. It's not. You're trying to tell me what I can have, when I can have it, and how much of it I can have. And then you're going to tax me for it. Are you telling me that that's in line with the Constitution? It's unfucking believable.
There's a wide consensus behind the need to take action. I know that when overwhelming majorities of Americans want to see something change that will affect their lives, and it still doesn't change, it can be demoralizing to our fellow citizens. It can feel like our entire political process is broken. I know it's painful and frustrating that we haven't made the progress that we'd hoped for. But it took 5 years to get Brady Bill passed, and it took even more years to work to pass the assault weapons ban. And it saved lives. No matter how long it takes, we're going to get these passed. We're not going to give up. We have an opportunity to fulfill the first responsibility of government, to keep our people safe. And in the process, we can show the world and show ourselves that democracy works. We can come together and get big things done. When I look around and see such brave survivors sitting out here in the Rose Garden, public servants who devoted their lives to advocates who feel strongly and are pushing every day to make the rational changes, and courageous parents and family members, I know the progress, even in this most difficult of issues, is possible. So folks, this is just the start. We've got a lot of work to do. But I know almost every one of you sitting in the garden here, none of you ever given up.
Yep, y'all right on.
Give up now.
Actually, I'm gonna go ahead.
The idea that we have so many people dying every single day from gun violence in America.
And I'll end it with this. Here's the thing. I'm going to end it with these 2 points. Number one, if you want to stop gun violence, if you want to stop the violence, then you need to crack down on the criminals, not the law-abiding citizens. You want criminals to stop committing a certain crime? Then you need to crack down on the criminals. And the fact that the criminals are using this particular tool to commit the crimes, then you can actually crack down on the criminals who possess this tool. Because every time they have this tool, they don't necessarily commit that crime, but they get caught with the tool all the fucking time. So if you want to stop the violence, you want to stop the violence, the gun violence, you want to correct it, you want to try to fix it, you want to make a dent in it, come down on the criminals who are committing those crimes. The other thing is this. You should not be taxing me or creating more laws for me for a right that I actually have. That's just like somebody saying that's just like somebody saying, hey, you want to go ahead and make it difficult for me to buy drugs because drugs are illegal? Okay. But if drugs was a right, if I had the right to do drugs in this country, to do illegal drugs in this country, why would you make more laws for me to get those illegal drugs? Makes no sense. Exactly. However, it is legally my right to have a gun. And it specifically says that me having that gun should not ever be infringed upon. Why are you trying to make laws to infringe upon it? Because they kept steady saying this is in line with the Second Amendment. It does not go against the Second Amendment. Yeah, but you're infringing upon it. You're encroaching upon it. You're inching your way towards it. You're fucking with it. That's why I said before, don't fuck with me politics needs to be the way to go. You got people committing crimes, go get on the criminals. You don't tax the fucking law-abiding citizens for those that are not committing the crimes. You don't. So when you talk about the foresight, like I mentioned earlier, what's the long game? They want to scare you. They want to make you feel that they're doing the right thing and they're doing what's best for everybody. They want to make you feel this way because it's all feelings. Ain't no fucking facts. You saw that. He had no stats. He had no fucking statistical data, nothing to justify what it was he was saying. He's going all on feelings. They're doing it because they want to get a gun registry so that they can actually take our guns. It ain't going to happen in 2 weeks. It may not happen in 2 years. They want to start down the path. And starting down that path is going to be magazine restrictions, firearm restrictions, gun registry, gun tax, and then confiscation. They are trying to control the people, and they're calling it gun control. They're trying to control the people, and they're calling it gun control. Because you're taxing the people for their God-given right, their constitutional right. You're trying to tell these people that they can and can't have this, and you're trying to say that the reason why is because so many people is getting hurt. Well, if the criminals are committing the crimes, why are you coming up with laws that are going to affect the law-abiding citizens? Because there are more law-abiding citizens than there are criminals. There are more guns in law-abiding citizens' hands than there are criminals, which further proves my point. They want to take our guns first. And they're going to start with assault rifles, then they're going to move to handguns, then they're going to move to shotguns, and pretty soon you won't have anything. That's why Joe Biden says buy a shotgun, because we're going to come for them last. And then if you do have a gun, all the while, they want to make sure that you can't afford to have it because you have to keep paying for it every year. You're going to have insurance for it. You're going to have a registration fee for it every year. And you know who that's going to affect first and foremost? Poor people. Who are the majority of poor people in this country? Black folks. It's just the truth. So once I do, the guns I do have, I got to now pay an annual fee for them. And then I got to pay insurance for them by the government. And then if I can't afford it, you're going to take my gun. If I miss the payment, you're going to take my gun because it's illegal now. I got to turn it in. And you'll know exactly where it's at. You'll know exactly that I have it. And you'll know that I didn't pay for it because you have your registry. So you're going to take my law-abiding citizens' guns away, and now I either have to break the law and own a gun, or I have to be subject to the criminals who have illegal guns. And these are the same people that you're not making tougher sentences for. These are not the people that you're keeping locked up. These are not people that you're giving mandatory sentencing for. No, you're letting them get arrested, get back out, go get a gun, and go kill somebody else by the time their first case is even heard in court. For fucking discovery. That's the difference. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Thank you guys so much for all of the donations. Let me go ahead and read those real quick. Thank you to everybody that clicked the like button, click the subscribe button if this is your first time. Please feel free to leave me your comments and your thoughts on this. This is something, like I said, I'm glad I did it. I got a chance to do it because this is something that is really important. And I'm telling you right now, you all better start holding your politicians accountable. I saw somebody put in the chat earlier to say, hey, what can we do to change this? Start getting on your politicians. Start telling these politicians, if you want my vote, you better vote against this. Yep. Shout out to my man Illa Dre, hit me up with $2 out there holding that high point down. I see you, boy. Shout out to my man Mr. Cash. Thank you so much. Hit me with $5. I appreciate that. And my man Leviathan, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Hit your boy with $10 as well. And Illa Dre came back, said, stop clowning my high point. Hit me with $2. Hey, man, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I tell you one thing, Illa Dre, that high point, boy, I tell you, that's a cheap ass gun. And I hope that you can go ahead and get your weight up. You might not make it, boy, with this world going the way that it's going with that high point. I'm telling you. All right, let me go ahead and see if anybody donated on the whatchamacallit, on the PayPal side. I don't think so. All right, if you're watching this on the replay, please feel free to go ahead and click that donate button. Cool. Yep. Nobody has. We all good. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Hey, I am going to be on a little short hiatus. I think what I'm going to try to do, though, is I'm going to try to, because I'm going to be out of town actually for a little bit. And my man Mega Mortars hit the boy with $50. He said for hitting hard facts on the 2A. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm going to be out, but I think I'm going to actually try to do more on my Instagram while I'm on a little short vacay. But thank you guys so much. I appreciate you all. If you have not subscribed to my Instagram, please go to Relate Better on IG and that's where I is. So you guys have a good night. I love you all. Remember, it's always better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Shout out to everybody on the United Guns of America. And my man Alfred hit your boy with $10. He said, for half dead Joe. Thank you, man. I appreciate that donation as well. Shout out to everybody in the United Guns of America channel. Channel is still growing. We are over 2,800 people now all over there. I appreciate that. And we up to, I think, 7,800 here on the relationship rehab. So the channel is growing. I thank you guys so much, man. I really do appreciate you all. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all were here with me tonight, and I appreciate you, man. I love you guys. Have a good night, please. Click the like button, click the subscribe button, and you can actually leave me a comment in the comment section. Please do so on the channel. I appreciate it. I'll read them, and I'm telling y'all, hey, for those of you who ain't been over there in the comments on my page, go over there and look at how many people are mad because I'm not just playing the video. It's astounding that so many people, black, white, Hispanic, whatever, male, female, just people who are so fucking stupid that they don't know what a commentary is. It's astounding. They don't know what a commentary or breakdown is. They're like, why are you just playing the video? Dude, the video is only 3 minutes long. It's a 2-hour show. What the fuck did you expect me to be doing? Dude, you talk too much. Just play the video. That's what they're saying. And I'm responding to every last one of them just as fucking ignorant as I possibly can be. Listen here, you dumb fuck. It's a commentary, and it's a commentary for a fucking reason. If you just want the video, go elsewhere because I don't do that shit here. It's hilarious. Right. Shout out to the AFT. And shout out to the AFC, my man DJ Just J. All right, man. Y'all have a good night. Thank you guys so much. I love y'all. Peace. And I'm out. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Feeling like this. But I'm out here in these YouTube streets. So I want you to get your fingers. I want you to get your mouse. I want you to check me out. And I want you to check me out. Get ready to do this. It's the relationship we have. Like, share, and subscribe. We coming at you live. So come on, let's take a ride. Then subscribe to United Guns of America. Just click that link and listen up to what I'm telling you. It's the relationship. Click that link right now. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Brian Redmond, and I just want y'all to subscribe to my channel. You know what I'm saying? I want you to let me know what you think. I'm gonna talk about some things, you can talk about some things, and we can do our thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's all about having a conversation, right? I mean, if we can't talk to each other, then, I mean, what are we really here for? I want y'all to be able to just come over to my channel, talk to me about what's going on with you, and I can tell you what's going on with me, and we can build some things, you know what I'm saying? That's all about growth, baby. So click that link, go ahead and swipe on your phone, whatever you gotta do. Share my content. It's just get me out here, baby. Cause we just talking, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I like doing what I'm doing because it's about the people. It's about us having a conversation with each other. It's about us.
Yeah, I gave y'all the
and on these YouTube streets,
that's my Twitter, Relate Better. My IG is the Relationship Rehab. So
right. Click the link.
Yep. So thank y'all, man. Peace. And I'm out.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's out here that's already